Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Back at you with a new video. Today is Wednesday, January 11th, 2023, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App, $ ORION NWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. So it's been a little rough in the last couple days, but I figured I would just hop on instead of skipping another day, and maybe I can feel a little bit better as we're transitioning into the weekend. We got All Elite Wrestling Dynamite in LA. It looks like we have about 30 minutes left of the East Coast feed, which I'm turning on, and I have it linked up now. I get it here in Oregon in about an hour and a half. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to stream for today since I'm not really feeling too great. I haven't felt really well in the last couple days. And I don't know if it's just shitty football, shitty natty, shitty NFL. Maybe it's just the seasonal depression with just the shitty weather here in the Northwest. Because around the same time, around like December, January, February, it usually comes on pretty strong for me. And it also came on pretty strong for me last year. And that's before I was able to really go full time. I was working the other warehouse job, and I got to a point where I was in a funk, and I didn't really leave the bedroom for about 3 weeks, and it put me in a really big hole. And I figured, we do mental health Mondays from time to time, and I know we don't really talk about this as much, but I know that Shep, actually, I talked to him earlier today, and then I know Odin's son is kind of going through it right now too. So I don't know really what's in the air right now, or really what's going on, or because some people live here on the West Coast. Odin's son, he lives on the East Coast in New York. But I feel like a lot of us are kind of going through that funk. I'm not sure if it's just because I still try to get out there and exercise even when the weather is shitty. But I'm trying to get my music. I'm trying to be able to do all the things that I can. Reflect. Thank you so much, man. And Liz, it took a lot of kind of strength for me to be able to title the video this particular way and actually talk about this, because a lot of times when you're a male or when you're a guy, it's very difficult to be able to speak up when you need help, or if you're not feeling okay. A lot of times, you'll just sleep a lot. You'll just ignore everybody. You won't be, on your phone or on social media. You're kind of just to yourself. And sometimes I know I might not be the only one, but sometimes you get to a point where, you kind of eat your feelings a little bit, so it's like if I feel like I don't want to party, I don't really want to hang out with anyone, I don't want to do anything I'll regret, I don't want to go on a drinking binge or hang out with people that'll try to get me to do things that maybe I shouldn't do. You know what I mean? Because when you start going down that dark path in your head, you're thinking, okay, what can I do to try to make myself better? But sometimes medicating yourself that way isn't the solution. And overeating and eating and just ordering takeout and doing all that necessarily isn't the solution either. But I have found myself, ordering food and just trying to maybe cover up some of my feelings with, with food, and just trying to, figure, okay, if I'm not going to be sleeping and I'm not going to be like in the Matrix, where I can just forget about everything in reality, and I'm just not, in the conscious mind, I'm sleeping, then that's one thing. But if I'm not sleeping, you have a lot of thoughts that are rolling through your head, and a lot of times it's, maybe I'll eat to feel a little bit better, but things have been rough, and I don't know how long it's going to last. Usually, if I end up, pushing myself and talking about it, and then hanging out with you guys, and kind of going through those steps, I know that things will get better for me. The longer that I stay away from grinding, the longer I stay away from YouTube, the longer I stay away from streaming, the longer I stay away from doing my regular routine, that's the longer I'm going to be fucked. So I need to make sure that I don't go more than like a day or two, and I'm still trying to make sure I'm bettering myself, but not doing anything to harm my mind or my body. And like I said, I don't know if it necessarily is a seasonal depression thing or what's going on, but I have found myself, there's certain days that are a lot harder to manage for me. And even yesterday, and Reflect, thank you so much for your $95 dono. That's so over the top, and I wasn't even expecting anything like that. So let's go through the comments here real quick, and I'll kind of finish my story. Odin's son donated $5 earlier today, and I don't know if we're all going through that same type of thing, but he said, let's see, what did he write? I said, let's see here. Let's go through here. I said, I hope you get better. I'm in a funk a little bit myself after he, did the $5 dono a few hours ago before the even stream started. And said, I wish I could do more to help the boost the numbers, man. And I said, you know what? It's okay, brother. I was like, oh, I hope your mental health gets better. He said, you know the feeling, man. You just feel like you're stuck in the quicksand. And I'm like, yeah, the last 2 days have been rough, but we'll get through it. We always do after time. And that's the reality. Sometimes you have more than one person that's kind of going through a little bit of a funk, regardless if he lives in New York and I live here in Oregon. A lot of us are kind of going through these tough times. And, I hate to be able to, I don't know, I don't really feel ashamed of exposing myself, of going through these problems and going through these things, because I think we need to hear it more from males. I know with females, they get it and they can talk to girlfriends, they can talk to family. And I feel with females, they can cut themselves off from everyone else. But I feel with more empathy and sympathy in a typical female, they usually can get out of the funk a little bit sooner, just based off the empathy and the sympathy and the support they have. But as you guys know, as being men and being guys, it's a lot harder to speak about how you're feeling. And if you do speak up to how you're feeling, you have to be kind of careful on who you're telling how you're feeling too, because they may not understand. I mean, you reach out to a drinking buddy or a smoking buddy, it might go in one ear out the other, and they just don't fucking get it or they don't care. But I feel that, even if I feel like sometimes I feel a little weak, I feel a little exposed. I know I'm a strong person, but every strong person gets to a point where you feel a little weak. And like I said, it comes in heavy waves with me. I'm not taking any kind of medication or anything like that. I'm not seeing any therapists or anything like that. I've never been like suicidal. I've never had it really get to that point. But it definitely puts me in this kind of weird mind frame where I start thinking these dark thoughts that I normally don't start really thinking about. And then usually I'm like, okay, I need to listen to music. I need to get outside. I need to go walk my puppy. I need to go do that. And I did that yesterday. But even with that being said, even I got that hour walk in, listen to the music and spend time with the puppers. It still didn't make things better last night. And I ended up sleeping a lot, watching a little bit of TV, but I just really wasn't feeling myself yesterday. So I don't really know what was in the air. And then I figured, you know what, I might as well just label the video this way. And, if anyone else is going through some tough times, they can talk about it. We can still go over NFL and these other things. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to be on here and stream, but I figured, the longer I go, the better it'll be for me. I'm not going to be able to do a 4 or 5 hour stream tonight. I'm going to shoot for an hour, see how I feel. And then if we go 2, maybe 3 is the max. I'm just not really feeling very good, to be very honest. But I know that once I hang out with you guys and we spend some time together, share some stories, maybe watch some AEW together or whatever you guys are doing at the moment, I will be able to feel a little bit better. $5 dono for my boy Odin Son. He's going through it right now as well. I love you and I appreciate you. And the last thing I need to have him worry about is him not donating enough, him not being able to help me get enough subs or views. It's an ongoing battle, but it's not his battle. It's my battle. So as long as I keep grinding and trying to stay in a positive mind frame, that's really all I can ask for. And, he is a GOAT. He is the original OG. And he was the first one to really donate to me that really believed in me. And so that definitely meant a lot. I appreciate that very, very much. I'm scrolling up to see where my Cactus Jack, I think a lot of stuff got moved around, but I appreciate you very, very much. Odin Son, we are a brotherhood. $5 holla. I think I misplaced my my Cactus Jack, so I'll have to probably go look for that here in a little bit, and I'll have that again. But I appreciate you guys very, very much. And I hope things get better for me. And if anyone else is struggling, I hope it gets a little bit better for you. Sarah's in the building. How are you? Yeah, $5 holla. Let's go. Let's get it. BLA in the building. I don't know, man. I feel shitty too, but this feels different. And like I said, sometimes it's who you hang around. Sometimes it's, the things that happen to you, and we don't know how to be able to, act properly. Sometimes overreacting in a situation. But all I know is, I've always been genuine. I've always been real. I don't know how to be any other person other than that. So, if that means me being weak, if that means me, exposing myself for having mental health issues. I don't really feel it's a negative thing. I think it's things that more guys and girls need to be able to speak up, especially when things are fucked up. Because if things are not okay, you need to make sure you tell someone. Some people are not as mentally strong as others, and you can be very, very mentally strong, but you can also feel drained. You can feel pulled in many, many directions, whether it's what you have going on at work, what you have going on at home, relationships with friends, relationships with a wife or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, things going good, things going bad, lots of drama and a lot of things that are going on. So again, I hope everyone is doing okay, and the generosity of people like Reflect, $95. This was nothing I ever expected. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. This will definitely help kind of catch up for me missing yesterday. And then hopefully I'll be able to have enough at the end of the month to, pay the rent and pay the bills. We had a pretty low month last month. I'm not trying to let that affect me though, moving forward. I know we got a lot to look forward to as we're going into 2023. Appreciate you so much, Reflect. We are a brotherhood. Thank you so much. $95 dono for my boy Reflect. Thank you so much. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. It means a lot. Thank you. And I was thinking about what I wanted to do for a background, but I thought, the only thing I could think of that's going to make me smile or make me a little happier. I know it's not summertime here in the States, but this is probably my favorite background that I have out of every background, just with the palm trees, the beautiful blue and kind of purple skies, a little tint of orange. You got the water and the rocks in the background and the sand. And every time I use this background, it definitely makes me feel a little bit better than normal. So thank you so much for your generosity. And like I said, I know I'm not going to get into a point where I'm going to be in a funk for 2 or 3 weeks. I can't afford to do that. If I go in a hole in a bunker and I'm in there for 3 weeks, that means I'm not going to be able to survive. So usually I try to, take the proper steps to get out of the funk as much as I can. And a big part of that, I think, is just talking it out and spending time with people that truly do care. And, some people are going through the same thing. And I honestly feel that a good chunk of the goats, a good chunk of the mods, a good chunk of the people that are in the room or normally a part of the channel on a normal daily basis, we all have anxiety and depression to a certain degree. Some of us had it when we were younger. Some of us have it right now. Some of us maybe had it before but are moving forward from that. And I think it is an important thing to be able to talk about. And I was kind of contemplating what I wanted to label the video, but that was really the only thing I could think of because that's genuinely, honestly, how I feel. And I feel that we need to talk about it and just let you guys know how I'm feeling. But that was the reason why I didn't stream yesterday. I wanted to be able to hang out, but I just couldn't mentally prepare myself. I can't fake a stream. If I'm into it, I'm going to be able to stream. But if I'm not mentally into it, I can't do it. Like, I just can't put on a fake smile like some of these other Twitch streamers and YouTube streamers and pretend that everything is okay when inside it's not. I wear my heart on my sleeve. And if I feel good, you're going to know it. If I don't feel good, you're going to know it. But one thing that's going to cheer me up a little bit, and I wanted to try to live stream before this started, we get the final match number 7 between the Elite and the Bastard Pac and the Lucha Bros. And so whoever ends up, winning this match, it's tied 3-3, will be the trio champs. I was hoping that they didn't open the show with this and they would end it. It is in LA. That's where the Young Bucks are from. So, and these are probably my 3 favorite right now, besides like Bryan Danielson and a few others that are really on top of the list. But love me some Kenny Omega, love me some Young Bucks. But I also like the Bastard Pac and I like the Lucha Bros as well. Let me keep going through here. And again, thank you so much, man. I was not expecting anything like that whatsoever. Thank you. I appreciate you very much. He said, yeah, vitamin D3 sunlight can sure cause a seasonal depression or the worst. Yeah. And I don't know if that's what it is, but I try to make a log and try to remember when the last time I felt this way. And usually when it's like springtime, I don't feel it too much. Summertime, I never feel it. Fall time, not really, because we got football going on. And I don't know, maybe it's just because it's starting to get dark, and it's been getting dark around 4:35 p.m. when normally it would be like, summertime, like 8, 9, 9:30. And just having it be pitch black. And then also on top of that, if it's raining or gloomy all day, I know that sometimes affects my mental health, even though I know it shouldn't. But I know sometimes it does. But normally, if I end up listening to music or getting outside and getting that fresh air, I'll be okay. But for whatever was in the air yesterday, it was not a very good mental health day for me. So, Mike in the building, how are you? Like I said, I feel that if I really was fucked up, like really back, like when I was like last year, if I was in one of those modes, there's no way in hell I would be online right now. I probably wouldn't even be talking to Sarah, because usually I try to message her and let her know if I'm streaming or if I'm not, or if I'm feeling good or if I'm not, and I check up to see, if she's feeling okay. And I know that her back has been bothering her, and she's been kind of under the weather, and I think she's been kind of feeling it as well. And sometimes we try to take days off together, so that way we can kind of reset, refocus, and then get back on the grind. Because it's not the same if I do a stream without her. She is the best mod on YouTube, hands down. The dedication and passion that she puts in, not only with the reading and watching everything that I'm watching, but also being here. And obviously being my lead mod is pretty demanding. It's not like we stream, a couple times a month. I mean, we're really grinding a lot. I mean, we had a period there from like summertime until like winter where we went 6 months straight without really missing a day. And that's fucking insane. And maybe that's a part of me getting burnt out a little bit too with everything and feeling I'm being pulled in so many directions. And but you got to make sure you look out for yourself. That's the number one key. And like I said, even if I wanted to stream yesterday, there was no way in hell I could do it. I tried to get some sleep. I tried to go outside. I even walked. And normally, like I said, if I'm fucked up with the depression and the anxiety, I can't even walk. There's no way I'm going to be able to go and walk outside. But I pushed myself yesterday to do the walk and get the music in, and it still didn't really help. So I'm just glad that at least I had the courage to try to step up and do this today, even though I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do this for. But I do appreciate you guys, and you guys are the best. I definitely wasn't expecting any kind of high dollar amount or any kind of donos, with this. So, but I think I'll get better, and I appreciate that. And like I said, it does come in kind of waves for me. Sometimes I'm good for 6 months, and then other times I'm stuck and I feel in a funk, for weeks at a time. But luckily, this one feels like it's going to be just a few days, and luckily that's one of like the minor episodes that sometimes I'll have. But as long as I have other things to get motivated for and look forward to besides talking with you guys, like watching this AEW match, or we don't have Thursday night football. The NFL hasn't been very good. The Natty was fucking horrible, and I don't even know if that triggered some of it, because sometimes it sounds ridiculous, to get kind of in a mood or get into a funk, based off bad football. But I'm being honest to God right now, like. Doing this full time as a job and having to sit through bad football, it's not good for my mental health. You know what I mean? I know not every football game or baseball game or NASCAR event or NBA or whatever is going to be good. I know sometimes there's going to be, shitty matchups, but sometimes when it's so bad and I have to sit through the whole thing, I mean, I don't have to. I could always end the stream, but the dedication part in me is like, no, even if they're losing, 70-7, I got to keep going and finish it to the end. But I don't know what it is. I mean, maybe that has a part of it as well. But I mean, we're done with college football, so I don't have to worry about any shitty natties until next year. And hopefully it's not a shitty one. Hopefully we get Georgia and Bama in the natty again, because that's what I truly want. So, but yeah, I don't know what I'm going to have to look into, but I know Paisley usually, with her kisses and spending time with her, it definitely helps. So I appreciate that very, very much. And then there you go. And then I actually, the girlfriend's got a mat and little mini weights that she got from her mom. I don't know when she's going to start on that. But yeah, I usually like to do my stuff outside because I like to smell the fresh air and then listen to music and kind of be alone with my thoughts. And most of the time when I'm alone with my thoughts, I'm okay. But sometimes when I'm alone with my thoughts, I'm not okay. And I start thinking of like really disturbing, dark stuff, not necessarily like suicidal, not down that dark path, because that's very serious. Because if you are thinking of that, you need to talk to a counselor or get professional help. Because if I was feeling that way, I definitely would, even if I was embarrassed or ashamed or feeling that, because I don't think I am really that type of person to, say, well, no, I'm too big for help. If I feel that I'm not in a good spot, I feel I'll say it. I don't have anything to hide. I know some people are very afraid of opening themselves up to people online. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of courage, but there are so many fake people out there that do Twitch and do YouTube. They can say whatever they want, but actions do speak louder than words. But I feel that some people are like, I can't believe you just expose your whole life and all the good and the bad and the ugly online. But I don't know how to do that any other way. I just am who I am. I'm not going to, hide things and lie about things. I mean, if things are good, you'll know it. And when things are bad, you'll know that it as well. So, yeah, absolutely. And I know things are going to get better. They always do. And no matter if I get knocked down, I always get up. It's just a lot of things, that can cause, the stresses and the things that make you just maybe, oh, Kenny Omega just fucking flipped into the table outside of the ring. Holy shit. Oh, is that Nick or Matt Jackson into Pac into a table? Oh, this match is getting good. See, my mental health is already getting a little bit better when I see wrestlers go into another wrestler through a table. Get the tables. Your boy's getting a little bit better there. Um, yeah, I appreciate you, man. Megan with a 50, feeling the same way. Oh, I appreciate it. And like I said, this stream was no intention of being kind of like, like a pity stream or, anything like that. I feel that, anything that I label a stream is really what I'm going through at the time. And anyone that is going through the same thing as me, I know you go through a lot of the things, and obviously you've had some stuff, people that you've lost in your family, trials and tribulations, things that go on with the family and extended family. And sometimes it's hard to be able to get past those things. But I've learned that if you end up being able to surround yourself more around positive people, it can definitely make the days a lot more easier than the days that you try to shut yourself out and just be by yourself. Being by yourself and shutting yourself out completely can be healthy at times if you are healthy about it. Just spending time watching a movie, doing what you love to do. But if it ends up being something where you're shutting yourself out from everyone for multiple days or weeks, then it starts to get to a point where you have to be able to have that alarm that goes off to realize maybe this isn't the healthiest thing for me. But sometimes when you're in a funk, it's hard to convince yourself that you're going to get better. Sometimes it's hard to convince yourself that things are going to be okay, especially when you're in a funk, So, but I appreciate you very, very much. Bang, bang, boom, boom. Family. And that's what we are. I appreciate you guys very much. Cactus Jack will be found later. I must have, I don't know if I deleted him or if I moved the file. I might have moved it. I don't know. Things have been just really crazy for me in the last, few days and the last week or so. But I appreciate you very, very much. And like I said, I know that you go through the trials and tribulations the same way too. So keep your head up. And like I said, the one thing that we can do is try to cheer each other up and kind of tell our story if we feel comfortable telling our story at the time. So, oh yeah, Antonio in the building. How are you, brother? I'm all right, man. I'm just I'm trying to go through the motions, dude. Yeah, and like I said, Odin's son, I know it goes through it. He's got multiple kids, and a lot of times, money is an issue. I think with him, with it is with a lot of us, just being able to survive, provide, and especially if you're a guy, it's a lot of times you don't feel like you're being looked after. Like a lot of people don't like ask, guys in general, are you okay? Or check up on other people. You know what I mean? Like I got people here in Oregon that are supposedly my friends that have never checked up on me at all. And sometimes it's not their role to check up on someone. Sometimes if you have the empathy or the sympathy, or if you're that type of person, like an empath, like I feel I am, it's not necessarily their role. If they're, maybe doing their own thing or they're on their own path, or maybe, sometimes people get selfish and they think about themselves and that's only what they think about. But that's not who I am. And sometimes it is nice, to be able to check up on people. But I'll tell you what, when you are in a funk and, people do check up on you, it does, help, you know what I mean? And, Shep, I talked to him earlier today and he did, and maybe he felt something in the air or just knowing that I didn't stream, and that's one of the tall tale signs with me. If you don't see me streaming, chances are 99% I'm not in a good fucking headspace and I'm fucked up. I'm not good here. You know what I mean? Even if it's like a day off. I mean, other times it might be just taking a day off for mental health for me and Sarah, just to hang out with our puppies and whatnot with Paisley and Bandit. But sometimes if it ends up being multiple days, then that's kind of the bell where it's like, oh shit, maybe things aren't going really good right now. But, I think I have a pretty good support system in place, you know what I mean? And I just try to be able to, know that I can't fight it alone. The more that you think that you know all the answers and then you can fight it alone. And sometimes the fucked up thing is, and I know you guys that have the depression and the anxiety, oh shit, Hurricane Ronald from the top into the ladder. Holy shit. But like sometimes there's not a reason for me feeling fucked up. Not a reason for me to be sad at all. Like yesterday, why am I sad? Why am I feeling this way? Why do I feel this like uneasiness about myself, and I'm trying to do things to better myself and to better my mental health, and even when I'm doing those, I'm still not better. You know what I mean? And I don't know what it is or what's in the air, but sometimes there's not like a single action or word that's set to me, directed towards me, that made me feel that way. I mean, of course, if someone cuts you off, you get in an altercation, you get in an argument, you have a fight with your friend or your significant other, of course you're raging in your head, and then you start either getting mad or sad or trying to process what's going on. But a lot of times, you're going through maybe things in the past, or it's just maybe that time, the chemicals in our brain, and maybe just that seasonal depression. And a lot of people that live here in Oregon and Washington, we live in the Northwest. We get seasonal depression here quite a bit. And I think there's a lot of people that have depression and they're not even diagnosed because they don't realize that it's depression. And then they just turn into alcoholics or druggies, or, they try to do other things to supplement, how they're feeling. They're like, well, if I feel like shit, if I hang out with these people, maybe my mind will feel better. Or maybe if I hang with these people, we'll binge drink and I'll be so drunk, I won't even care. I won't even care if I'm feeling good or bad, But I don't really feel that that's the answer for everyone. Yeah, sometimes it can help. If it's just like one of those things and, you do it for a day, and then if it does make you feel better at the time, maybe not the next morning if you're hungover or whatnot, or depending on what you're doing. But I do hope you feel better. And like I said, I always try to be there for everyone else. I always try to make sure that, I set a good example. I try to be able to show the grind and the work ethic. But I also want to be able to show that, it is okay, to be vulnerable. It is okay to, be honest. It's okay to be genuine. It's okay not to be fake. It's okay to say that you're not okay. And there'll be a few times throughout the year where I won't be okay, and you'll know it. And like I said, I wish it didn't happen to me at all, but it's just a part of my life, I guess. And, I'm not sure if I really believe in taking a medication. I'm not sure if I'm at that stage just yet, because I don't feel I'm getting it for like weeks or months at a time. It just kind of springs up. I don't know if it's that full moon or that time of day, but the weird thing is most of the time where I feel fucked up and mentally I'm disturbed, right? There's someone else that's my friend that's feeling the same thing, because we usually communicate where maybe we haven't talked on the phone or by text message in a while, right? But then we'll like message each other, and it'll kind of feel like we're both in that same kind of mental headspace, which is kind of weird. You know what I mean? You don't talk to someone for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden something in the air, and then you're kind of feeling uneasy. But definitely, when you have good people in your life, it can be easier to get past. So you guys are awesome. Wasn't expecting anything like this tonight, so because I don't even know how long I can do this for. But thank you so much. 150. Let's get to 2. Let's do it. Let's help pay my rent and pay my bills, I guess, with everything going on. I appreciate you guys very, very much. Let me keep. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm always used to doing a little bit of anything. Like, I mean, there's a lot of shows with a lot of the female friends that I have that have opened my eyes with empathy and sympathy, and also just finding shows that are normally are maybe geared more towards females, but I watch it because of, like my girlfriend, or if I have other girlfriends or friends that are girls that recommend something that might be more of a female-based show. Hey, as long as it's got a good plot and I maybe know some of the people in it, I'll give it a shot. Maybe, and a lot of times when I watch these shows, if I watch it like, with a girlfriend, or she recommends it or whatever. But every once in a while, I try to, keep an open mind. I'll do the Discovery, the History, the Nat Geo. I like action. I like the cartoons. So I'm always looking at different avenues for my mental health. But it is one of those things, like even with the yoga or the extra exercise. Right now, I'm walking about an hour every day with Paisley, even if it's rainy outside, as long as it's not a downpour. And I know when I have the music and the earbuds in, and I can walk, and it's at night, and it's just the street lights and me and Paisley, and there's nobody on the roads anywhere, nobody outside, nobody really on the roads. It's kind of desolate and dark, and it's just kind of me and my own thoughts. And most of the time, it's a real calming vibe, and it definitely helps. But again, I tried doing that yesterday, and it didn't really help. So that's why I knew. I was like, something's got to change. And also, too, I feel that sometimes, like, having a good cry, it's like if you haven't cried in a while, a lot of times we go through a lot of these emotions where we have people pass that are close to us in our life, mom, dad, cousin, brother, sister, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle. And we don't really, I feel, process, the death or that difficult time in our life. We kind of act like we're okay, and we acknowledge it to certain people, right? But we might like push it aside, and then years later, maybe we'll just have a random day where we think of that person for whatever reason, and then it kind of hits us. And I think another part of my depression, and this is me just being very genuine and honest, my ex-girlfriend, to the one that I'm with right now, I was with her for about 7 years, and I got pretty close with her mom and her dad, and then they divorced and remarried. So one of them lived on the beach in Yachats, and I just found out when I was looking through like social media, because I don't talk to her anymore. I found out that her mom died a couple years ago, like 2 years ago. So I was like, damn, you know what I mean? And I was thinking about the boys, because I used to play video games with them, like online, and we played basketball in the front outside and walk to the beach because it was right there on the Pacific Ocean. And I was just trying to think of like, damn, like what are they going through? I mean, I know it's been a couple years, and I know it's not fresh in my mind. Like right now, I just found out. But that fucking fucked me up a little bit. But the one that really fucked me up is that then a couple days after that, I actually went through like a Facebook feed, and I found her brother's feed, who works and lives on the beach. And I found out that the guy that I was probably the closest to in that relationship, family, her real dad, Skip, I found out that he died last like January, February. And I remember me and Marcos went to the bar, and we actually saw him and then Mary, which is his wife, and that was obviously my girlfriend's at the time stepmom. And I remember going outside and telling them about the channel, and I helped raise her son for about 7 years. And it was just a lot of flood of emotions. Like it made me really sad to know that Skip has passed and he's no longer with us. But then I was thinking of like, the other people, like the Brandon and his sister, what they're feeling, even though it's already been a year for them to cry and try to process the information. But that one kind of hit me. But it also, it's like maybe the first time that I've had someone pass away that, indirectly I felt pretty connected with and close with. But it was the first time I feel that I felt like kind of a sense of relief, because when I did end up seeing him, it was almost like a little bit of a goodbye. I mean, because I think he passed away, like no shit, like maybe like a month or two after I saw him. And that was last year. And then previously to that time, I hadn't really seen him in years. So it was probably like maybe, like a 3 to 4 year gap from the previous time that I saw him. So when I did see him, it felt good. We gave each other hugs and had a beer and just kind of talked, and how's your job doing? And he was a car representative. He was like one of the managers at like a car place, you know what I mean? So he'd be doing the deals, and, he was doing it pretty much a good chunk of his life. And he wasn't even that old. I think the mom and the dad were like, hell, I think like 50s, 60s, not even, they're not even up there really in age just yet. I know he had battled like gout and some other little minor things prior, but it's like the first time in my life where I felt a little bit of like sadness, but also like I got to say like hello, and indirectly I got to say goodbye. I got to see him, and it's not like 7 years passed and I never got to say like what's up, or and kind of touch base. And I think that was another part of me. And some people would say, well, why are you letting that affect you? But, when you do have bonds, when you have a boyfriend or girlfriend or a wife or a husband, right? Or, or ex-husband or ex-wife or ex-girlfriend, you usually get to a certain degree, some of the people that you associate with, you'll be somewhat close to at least maybe a couple people. You might not be close with the brother. You might not be close with the mom. You might not be close with the dad or the stepdad, but every once in a while you do, you do get a little bit of a bond, and you can vibe, and, you both have that salesman kind of swag. And he was a Cowboy fan, and some of the other people in the family were non-Cowboy fans, but this guy was through and through with like his dad, and they were the OG Cowboys, like before the Emmett and the Troy Aikman and the Michael Irvin, the Roger Staubach, like the old school time. So he never was a bandwagon guy. And it just makes me kind of reflect on just the shitty coaching for Dallas, with McCarthy and Kellen Moore. I mean, it'd be really cool, even Tampa is playing Dallas. But, with that being said, I wouldn't even care. I wouldn't even mind if Dallas ended up, beating Tampa, because Dallas has got, if they can get past the first game, and win that, it'll give people confidence that, what, there's the Eagles, there's the Niners. And yes, we can say the Cowboys are no longer pretenders. They can at least get to the playoffs and win a game. And, Brady's never lost to the Cowboys. So I already know this, right? And obviously Dallas doesn't play well on, grass compared to turf. They're like 1-4, 1-5. But it would be kind of cool from, like the heavens up there, to be like, Skip, my team has no chance to get to NFC Championship or Super Bowl, even though you do have Tom Brady. I get it, but it's a team sport. But it would be kind of cool to see, if maybe not Dallas go all the way, because we know they're not that good. You got to have like Sean Payton and Dan Quinn for something like that to happen. And then you also have to get lucky and get past the Eagles and Chiefs or Bills or Bengals, and that's not likely, right? But it'd be really cool to have them win a game. And, it's just, I don't know, maybe the sports gods are listening, you know what I mean? But yeah, that definitely, it hurt me, but because I was closer with the dad than the mom, but it also gave me a sense of relief that, at least I did get a chance to say like, what's up, and hello and a goodbye, even though that was the last time I actually got to see him alive. But it's just wild when you find out, someone passed a year or 2 years ago. I mean, it's like I don't associate with those people anymore. So it's not like we're like Facebook friends or we have friends of friends and they like told me. But it's just always kind of a startling thing when you go on a Facebook page and I go to her brother's post and I look at it and I'm confused at first, and I'm reading it. And then I get, it's like a tribute to someone. And then I look at the very bottom and it's got hearts and then it says Skip. And I'm like, oh shit. And I've had that happen to me before when I actually had another friend that I was pretty close with, Jeremy, rest in peace. I know you're listening right now. And we used to, live across the street from each other, and we were drinking buddies, and he was a grinder. He had 2 jobs. He worked at Taco Bell and FedEx or UPS. And I know people were like, Taco Bell, but he was a grinder. He would wake up early in the morning and he'd be loading those fucking trucks with the packages and doing all that shit. And then after, he would be like, fuck it, I'm going to work and do the Taco Bell thing. And then he was, always a people person and get those hours in, even if it was, not very much money. And then at night we would hang out maybe for an hour or two, listen to music and just talk and vibe. And unfortunately he took his life, and I ended up, seeing him a lot. Then I didn't see him. And then I ended up seeing him at the beach when we were, all grouped together. And this was a few years back. And I told him, come to my place. And I got him to come to the place. Yeah, I think he spent the night and we got that chance to hang out. And then I think like a few months later, he was gone. But it just made me feel good because prior to that, again, I had maybe a couple of year gap where I didn't even hear or see from the person. So I'm, it sucks when you have people leave you in your life. And it's obviously a natural thing to feel, sad and stuff. But sometimes I have to analyze my brain and think, okay, why am I getting in this funk? I can't be getting into this funk of Georgia beating TCU by 1 billion. Yes, I know I'm so into football, but am I really mentally depressed because Georgia beat TCU? No, you know what I mean? But you have to like process all these things. Have I been depressed by shitty football this year? A little bit. The NFL and college football season is, it hasn't been the greatest. I think the Natty was horrible, but everything building up to that was pretty good throughout the season. And I feel with the NFL, Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night, haven't really been that great, especially Thursday. That's always been horrendous for the last few years. Schedule's bad, but I'm just hoping that we end up getting some good playoffs, because like I said, I don't have the option like a lot of y'all when the game sucks where you can change a channel and you can move on mentally. I have to be mentally invested until the clock hits zero doing this full time. And if that means I have to watch a game that's going to be, 66-6, I guess that's what I have to do. So, yeah, but I might have to. Let me get caught up in some of the comments. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys because I think a lot of times we try to try to find ways to figure out like why we're feeling this way or that way. But I definitely think that had a little bit to do with it. But I do feel like, talking about certain things like that makes me feel a little bit better. And it also, shows you my human side because, goddamn well, a lot of people online are not real. They're not genuine. And a lot of them wouldn't even dare to talk so raw like this and so real. But I mean, that's just who I am. So. And that's no problem. Most guys don't do feelings. Let's most people can't do it. And sometimes it's the way that you were brought up. But I think it also with the stigma for guys, it's like you're the provider. You're always have this pressure on your shoulders. And it's like, people are universally loved. Women, kids, pets, but guys are not universally loved. And that's fucking big facts. So a lot of times, guys are fucking suffering inside and they can have a smile on their face and we could be putting in 50, 60, 70 hours and you could think everything is okay, but we're not fucking okay. You know what I mean? A lot of times that, you feel unloved, underappreciated, you feel, not checked up on, you know what I mean? And I think every guy, even if you're, the biggest hard ass on planet Earth in the inside and the outside, it's always good to know that, that someone cares and someone, is actually thinking of you. It's one of those things, but universal love, you get it with the females, you definitely get it with the children, you definitely get it with the pets, cats and dogs, but men are not universally loved. And it's a lot of times is what can you provide for that person? And then once you stop providing that or whatever, I mean, sometimes us guys, we get kicked to the curb or we make the choice to leave or, we go about our own way. And I think that's also why with the stigma, there's a lot of times where guys do things that they shouldn't do because they feel trapped. We don't have anyone that we trust to talk to, let alone if we were going to talk to someone, why the hell would we talk to a fucking therapist that's just collecting our money that doesn't give a shit about me? Like, I'm going to tell you my deepest secrets and you don't give no fucks about me. You're not my friend. You don't care. After this, you just want me to make another appointment. So why the fuck would I want to fucking tell you this? And then talking to like girls and guys, that's a sacred thing. People don't feel safe, talking about certain things about being judged or, it's just a difficult time. You know what I mean? And when people do open up, I know a lot of people do it to me and you can probably see why, they'll talk to me for a few minutes and all of a sudden like, oh, meet someone brand new at a party. 20 minutes later, I shit you not, they're telling me their deepest, like fucked up thing going on in their life or had, or, you know what I mean? And I don't know if that's just the aura or the vibe or the trust, you know what I mean? But it happens to me a lot. And, and I always tell that person, I appreciate you very much for being so open and brave because most people would never do that. And just because you've known someone for 20 years of your life, the amount of time doesn't matter. It's always the connection. So that's why you can meet someone and like I could meet someone for 6 months and, talk to them almost every day. You can know someone for 20 years and I can know the person better in 6 months than you in 20 years. And then the person that's the 20-year person said, hell no, you're crazy. But what's really crazy? Do you really know your friend or is it just, someone that you associate with, something to think about as well. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know how to do it any other way, but, I feel that, if you can be honest with yourself, honesty and genuine people and the vibe and the aura come across on camera. You can always tell when someone's shady and when someone isn't. So at least I feel that you can kind of get a vibe most of the time. Some people are very good actors though on Twitch and YouTube though. So don't let them fool you. Some of them are very good actors. Yeah, I did not get it. I don't know if I'm one of the lucky ones that did not get it through that time period. I was very careful. I know a lot of other people were as well. I even was the one that grocery shopped for the fam. So I was the one, with the sanitary wipes, wiping down the cart. And that still was kind of, I didn't go to the extreme of wearing gloves, but I, mask and I do all that. And, it was a little worrisome, but I was usually really good about the sanitary part and the antibacterial and just having that stuff and doing that. But with that being said, I still could have gotten it. But yeah, I have heard that some people have had some some kind of lingering effects, or those people that got it and then they got it fucking again. I feel for those people, because I know some people that got it and then they tried to be really cautious, and whether, they got it or someone in their family brought it home. Yeah. So tough. Damn, and then breathing. And obviously, if you're an older individual over 40, 50, 60, it's going to affect your body differently with other, complications if you have other things as well. So. Wow. That's crazy. When did you get it? Did you get it like early on in like 2020, or was it within the last year? Because I had a guy, David, if you guys remember when I worked at the saw place, he got it, and then his wife got it. They had like a newborn that was like 6 months, right? Then the car like broke down, and the refrigerator broke down, and the washing machine and the PS4 broke. So I gave him mine. And then I raised money on the channel for him, and because he wasn't able to work, and it wasn't a lot, but still it was like maybe $400 or $500, which is, I guess, quite a bit, because most people would not give that away just to anybody. And I felt that was the good karma thing to do. It wasn't ever for clout or look at me, type of thing. But I was just it's like both you guys can't work. He was like the lead manager for us there in the back unloading the semis. Lots of responsibility on his shoulders. I assume he was making probably 25 to 30 an hour. Then his wife was like a server. And then they got the newborn, and then you got the car breaking down, and then like washing machine, dryer, refrigerator, and PS4. It was just ridiculous, dude. I just, and I was like, well, at least I can do is give him my PS4 so he can listen to music or just play video games. The last thing you want to do is be at home with COVID, and then, but I wasn't able to give it to him when he had it because he was gone. But when obviously he came back, that's when I took care of him and stuff. So, but yeah, that's crazy. But he was telling me that he couldn't taste. It was like bad. He said it was like gunmetal. It was just like horrible. Like he would try to eat and drink different things, but he's like, it was like just this very weird, bland kind of gunmetal. If you could think of like a bullet powder or like something of that nature, like you're out camping, and then that smell that you would think of being out in the outdoors, and maybe like gunpowder or like gunmetal or something to do with like gun smell, and like with the powder. And I was like, damn, that doesn't sound too good at all. And I know that his lasted quite a long time. I think, he had the COVID for, I don't know, I would assume probably like month or something. But I think he said it affected maybe in the smell or the taste, maybe not both, but the taste part, maybe like 5-6 months. So some people have that lingering effect where they can't smell or taste even today. And it's already been like 6 months to 2 years. So. Damn, that's crazy. And you got it too. Back is still messed up. That sucks. He said level 3 biohazard. It's like Resident Evil, like in the video games, for real. Big Jim Cruz in the building. What to do? I'll have to go back, watch that AEW again. It's going to come on live for me here on the West Coast in like 43 minutes. But I got to see a good chunk of what I was looking at. Plus, spending time with you guys, and story time is always good. Sometimes it's always good. I can do a live play-by-play and reactions, but sometimes, just being able to talk and share things with each other is nice. Oh, you had to go to the ER? Holy shit. Oh my gosh. You got to take care of yourself, Mike. We're getting into NASCAR season. Okay. I got to pull up the Chase Elliott for all of us because they just debuted the new decals. And I know that's one thing that I know me, Sarah, and Mike love. Let's see if I can let me see if I can find it here. I know I had it on Twitter, but. Let me see. Let me see. Where are you, Chase Elliott? New Chase Elliott 2023. I might have to go on Twitter. But it's the Napa know-how. And it's not this, but I will have to find it. Here, hold on. Where'd you go here? Let's look. Because I'm pretty sure I liked it on my Let's see here. There it is. Dude, I'm loving this. There it is. See if I can format it. It's not going to fit the screen, I can tell by just looking at it. Yeah, but you got to make sure you take care of yourself, Mike. I got to be able to have you during NASCAR season. We can't be doing Napa know-how. I can't be doing it without you, with the Chase Elliott and all. I mean, he should have won the championship last year, so we need championship. I'm liking the Napa. Anything with the Napa design, blue, white, majority white, majority blue, all white, a little bit of everything. Yeah, fucking love it. Love it. See, my mental health just went up a tick right there. Yeah, but I'm praying for you. I hope everything will be okay. All the sports fanatics. That's what we are, man. We're a special breed. We're not like other channels. It's a different brand here. Hell yeah, bro. Well, you're lucky, man. If you live out there in California, you can find a way. You got, parents or relatives to be able to make that happen. Congratulations. That's going to be sweet, dude. Oh, don't worry about it, Mike. Don't even worry about that for a second. When we have one person that has an issue, another person will step up. Even if I have limited people, I got great people. I don't have the normal 20 or less, it's like we have our own little clique. I just want you to get better, get healthy. And then if you can work, then great. If not, just take care of yourself, and there'll be another time. And if there isn't, then there's going to be someone like Louise or someone else that will step up. Just having you in the room is good enough. Just for you to donate is just going above and beyond and supporting the brand and helping me. But, like I said, everyone's situation changes in life. It never stays the same. So I'd just rather have you here for along for the ride, man. So we can, grow the channel and together and watch NASCAR and root for Chase to try to get the championship this year. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if the sun will shine tomorrow. I got to check the weather here in Oregon. I can trick myself and look at the sun or the sunset here. Sarah's got some rumors. Said the Los Angeles Chargers will part ways with Staley if he loses versus the Jags. Sean Payton could be a big piece of the equation. Isn't it crazy, Sarah, on how many times, if people don't think I have the ESP and there'll be private things that, we'll talk about WWE maybe getting rumored to be bought by the Saudis or, certain things. It's you'll have certain predictions before the playoffs happen. And then it just, you don't really think it's fully going to happen all the time. And then sometimes it exactly plays out the way that you said it. But gosh, I mean, there's a lot of stuff, it just, you talk about it, you think it, and then all of a sudden it just starts happening sometimes. It's fucking kind of weird. But even though the deal was rumored to the Saudis, and obviously had the Live tournament, and people are worried since Stephanie stepped down, and if Vince sells it, and there's who's gonna run the show? Are they still gonna let people run the show, or are they gonna, whoever the people who buy it, whether it be the Saudi group or if it's a different group, if they're gonna change everything? Because if they start changing shit, then the people that are watching are not gonna watch. They'll go flip to AEW. You know what I mean? Or some of them will watch, but they might not watch the whole thing, depending on what kind of changes you're going to get. So, I mean, because if you guys watch the Saudi shows, they love Goldberg more than anyone loves Goldberg in the United States or anywhere in the globe. So if the Saudis buy WWE, Roman Reigns would probably drop it to Goldberg and Goldberg would have the belt. How do you think wrestling would go for WWE fans if Goldberg had the belts? They'd be losing a lot. Your boy knows. Giants and Vikings on NFL Network. But I just want you to get better, man. Take care of yourself. We have to look out for each other. The brothers, we have to look out for each other. And I appreciate that. And hopefully we get a little bit of sun here in Oregon, but I got distracted. Let's look. I got distracted with Sarah's rumor news. But I've always said that too. The only two places that are ideal for Sean Payton, it's never going to be Denver. You could pay Sean Payton $10 billion and he wouldn't go there. Oh yeah, maybe he would for $10 billion, but you know what I mean? Really for Sean Payton, there's only two logical choices. A, Cowboys, because he was already a part of that organization, and then him and Dan Quinn can actually get to the NFC Championship game and Super Bowl if you had those two. We already know what Sean Payton did with the Saints, so right? And then the other one would be the Chargers. If you go there, you're still going to need help on the defensive side, but you would be able to get Herbert to another level where, more people would be comparing Burrow, Allen, and Mahomes to Herbert instead of Herbert being kind of the guy on the outside looking in, which is totally okay because there's like 4 guys. And then even though he's broken a lot of these records for like yards and touchdowns, it doesn't matter because the team is usually the worst and they have that injury curse and they have shitty coaching. So Herbert's really never going to get the true love and pub until he gets to a Super Bowl and wins or loses. But I'm not sure if you're going to do that with Staley. So I'm not a big fan. I have like Charger friends and I kept telling them that Anthony Lynn was garbage. I was like, this guy's not a good coach. You know what I mean? They try to argue, and I'm like, trust me. I was like, you'll know when you get someone a little bit better. And then obviously Staley ends up being a little bit better. But again, I think that his Chip Kelly-ness of taking risks is stupid. You know what I mean? He acts like, he's going to be able to get every 2-point conversion, and it's like very frustrating. All right, so here, the seasonal depression or like depression stuff, right? So today, rain. Thursday, rain. Friday, rain. Saturday, rain. Sunday, rain. Monday, rain. Tuesday, rain. Wednesday, rain. Thursday, rain. Friday, rain. Do you see a pattern? So maybe, living here in, the Northwest in Oregon and Washington, I wouldn't trade it for anything. But fuck, I mean, that many days, like no sun coming out at all. I mean, that can affect, anybody. And it definitely affects me sometimes for sure. Oh, no worries. Yes, we appreciate you. Oh, I am too. As soon as I see Chase Elliott stuff, I already know. And I saw a graphic about Kyle Busch today too, that he spent half of his life in NASCAR. They had like the days, like 6,336 days from the point of when he was born until the first day of NASCAR. And then it's like first day of NASCAR till current day present. And it was like the same exact day span of his life. Like literally, like he's been there half of his life. Pretty sweet. I'm fucking ready. And like the big reason I am is like Riggs and Mike and a few others. Like I really had that love for it, but I just didn't know if I would have anyone to like appreciate it the same way I do. And then also not knowing if I'm going to get views or subs or, if anyone's going to, watch that or whatever. And I know there's a crowd, you know what I mean? But I think a lot of the crowd doesn't really watch YouTube. I think a lot of the crowd, they're just watching it, in the living room. Some people with the new technology now, they'll look for, okay, like where can I watch this with other people? And I know they're going to enjoy it. And the first place you think of is YouTube. Like, okay, there's got to be some other motherfuckers here on planet Earth that are watching this fucking race and enjoying it just as much as me. And it's always good to be able to vibe with those people. And we had a fucking awesome year. I think I might have had more fun doing NASCAR and baseball than anything else in the last few years. Being completely honest. I mean, seeing that Mariners run, even though my dad's Dodgers fell short, but just to be able to see all the milestones with Aaron Judge and Pujols and Julio and then Chase Elliott and just to see everything going on and all the first time winners and Daniel Suarez and, getting his first win after 6 or 7 years. And, a lot of history was made, I feel, in 2022 and, hanging out with you guys made it so much better too. Yeah. And I feel that, and the thing is, it's like, I appreciate all the teams. So it's like if a majority of the league sucks, it's like, I'm not feeling too good. You know what I mean? Like I have my own team, but I really try to take in like regard of when I think of trades and like scores and betting and thinking of like maybe trade value and evaluation of talent. I'm looking at every team as my own. So that way I don't have no bias. I was like, okay, is this guy's great? Would I love him on my team? And if the answer is yes, then there's no reason to hate, even if he's on the Saints or the Panthers or the Falcons. A great player is a great player. Being a hater is stupid. Because anytime you end up doing that, then what happens if that hater, you're going against that player, right? And then all of a sudden, 2 years from now, Cam Jordan is now on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, what are you going to say then? You're not going to root for him? Of course you're going to root for him. Anyone that wearing the jersey you're rooting for, right? So, but yeah, I feel that football being bad and that natty, I feel like it affects me more personally just based on like, okay, if I'm doing this full time, I can't leave, you know what I mean? So it's like not good for my mental health. It's like you're drowning me with like horrible football. Like I'd be better off just ending the stream and then I could even start a new one or just walk away completely. But gosh, I mean, that natty was so bad. It puts like a bad taste in my mouth for like wanting to watch college football next year. You know what I mean? Like when I see bad fucking football on Thursday, Sunday, Monday night, regular, Sunday morning, afternoon. But when I see shitty football, it got me to the point where the NBA was that way. And how do I feel about the NBA? I fucking don't even watch it anymore. Fucking hate NBA. I can't do college hoops unless it's March Madness. I fucking will do anything on planet Earth, pick up Paisley's shit than rather watch an NBA game, except if like the Blazers are on or if I'm there with my buddy, like in person. If I'm there at the fucking game at Moda, if I'm in it's a whole nother story. If you're there watching whatever sport, hockey, whatever, you could be watching fucking tennis or golf in person. It's way better than TV, right? But I mean, it's just so tough for me to really get into anything. When you grow up in the 80s and the 90s, you've seen the best of the best of basketball, baseball, football, wrestling. So anything that I watch now and I'm critical of, it's because I saw the best, and this is not like the best. This sucks. It's like, the level of talent is nowhere near what it was. But I still try to appreciate the game for what it is. But when you get the young bucks that think that like LeBron is the best thing that since sliced bread, and you can definitely tell they've never seen Michael Jordan, or, maybe they've seen a couple YouTube things, but they have no idea what it was like to be alive and to watch MJ be MJ or Bird or Magic. I mean, it's just fucking child's play. I can't even have a conversation with some of these people. Even the Kobe Bryant, legend, and a lot of these people aren't even giving Kobe his due. It's just, and I'm a Blazer fan saying that too. It's hard for me to be like, oh, Kobe Bryant is the next thing to Jordan. I mean, the closest thing that you're ever going to see. And that competitive fire that he had, that Mamba mentality, I respect that. And it's funny because I hated the guy forever. And as he got older, I started to respect him more and more. And then when he was out of the league, I respected him even more and more. And it's gotten to a point where it's like, I really did, not fully appreciate him while he was playing, because that was the villain role and he was just so fucking good. But as you watch certain athletes, and once they're done and then you reflect on their career, you realize that thank God we had that. Because, there was no better player when he was playing, period. There was a lot of other guys playing. LeBron was good, but, Kobe was – there's a reason why Kobe's got more championships than LeBron, and Jordan does too. If LeBron was so good, and he is the best all-around player, arguably, scoring, rebounding, assists, like he does it all, like a Magic Johnson, right? But the one thing that he doesn't have is the clutch factor. He can't score in the clutch, maybe just being so muscular and being like 6'8", 240, but he doesn't have the shooting guard touch of a Jordan and a Kobe, and it showed. Now, if LeBron was a shooting guard and, still had those same kind of numbers, we're not even debating or talking, you know what I mean? But for small forward, power forward, but mostly small forward, there's a reason. Usually those bigger players aren't as good as shooters as a shooting guard or a point guard. And if a point guard and shooting guard are elite, no fucking small forward, power forward, or center is going to really match that unless it's like fucking Wilt Chamberlain or Bill Russell or Kareem or something, Shaq, but those don't come around that often. But I just don't want to get to the point where I'm hating football. This is my full-time job, but I have to be honest with y'all, on how I'm feeling, because I know that even though some people are probably afraid to say shit like that or don't want to admit it, but God, it's like, I'm like one of the most hardcore people, when I follow the things that I like, but I can't put up or be quiet when something is bad and people are acting like it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. Like, in general, like the quality of football that we've been seeing is, I don't know. It's hard to describe. I think you guys know that, but bad football, it like the natty, it was like, I don't even know how to put it into words on how god awful that was and how bad that was. Yes. Yeah. Oh, I bet. But you got to be, you got to be happy. Like, geez, like you actually have the team that's all in. You have one of the 5 teams that actually can win the Super Bowl. You got Eagles, you got Niners, you got the Bengals, you got the Bills, and you got the Chiefs. Those are the only 5 teams that can win the Super Bowl this year. If it's any other team, that's a huge surprise. And the team below the 5th team would be Dallas, but we can't give them the credit regardless if it's 12-5 or 13-4 or 14-3. We need to see them win a playoff game first, home or on the road. One time, I don't need you to do it like a billion times in a row. Just do it once to show us that you can win with this amazing roster. So it's not like all these people are talking about you guys all year. And then at the end, everyone knows the choke job is coming. And it doesn't even matter who they play. Could be the Niners, could be the Seahawks, could be the Saints, could be Tampa. It's just like you knew something, like they're going to play good, but then something towards the end is going to be weird and fucked up and bad play call or clock management or some stupid ass interception or something stupid, right? And then they lose, and then they just lose their shit, but then all of us were like, well, we kind of knew that was happening. We need to change that, so that the idea of them actually winning a game, they can do it. Because they have a fun team to watch. I mean, regardless if you hate the Cowboys, let's be honest, out of all the teams in the NFL this year, that's one of the top 10 that you can actually turn on, and either you're rooting for Dak or you're not, or you're watching Micah or you're not, but it's fun football. Regardless if you want to say, these guys fucking suck, it's the Cowboys. Cowboys are a lot better than the Pats. Like if we're going that hater route, Cowboys hate, and then the Patriot, no one wants to watch a fucking Patriots. Even our Tian Jose and some of our Patriot people, Britt, I imagine with Brittany, it's tough to go from Tom Brady and Gronk to watch what you're watching now. It's not smooth. A lot of times when you have 20 years of greatness, you think it's never going to end, and it's never going to be the same ever again. But one's a little bit different than the other one, I feel. But gosh, bad football is really. It fucks with my mentals. Yeah, me too. Sometimes I don't know what it is. I feel also it depends. I think if you exercise or if you drink coffee or energy drink, and if you don't drink that, like I feel that if your body is used to like caffeine or whatever you're doing, you're all jacked up on Mountain Dew or whatever you're doing, the big gulp, fucking 64 ounce in the morning, or coffee or Starbucks or the Monster Energy drink or Red Bull. And if you do that and then you don't do it, I feel like later in the day you crash and you feel like shit, or at least that's how I sometimes feel. And I can tell that if I don't have one sometimes in the morning, if that's what I'm doing, then I'll feel a little off. Damn, 250, 350, 250. Yeah. Well, like I said, I think a lot of us, mentally, we're all, I think every guy out there, not everyone is going to be a grinder. Some are going to be lazy. Some, are going to go through things that will it just puts you in your tracks. You know what I mean? It's very, very difficult to be able to maintain at a high level, especially when people are counting on you, whether that be, significant other, kids, friends, family, others. There's always those extra pressures, man. But yeah, I try not to spend that much. You know what I mean? I gotta try to find the deals. I have to try to be, I gotta try to save money as much as I can. Matt Payton in the building. What to do? Yeah. And that's, this is the grinder in you, because that's how we feel. Like, some people are completely fine being lazy and not doing anything. But for grinders, like when we have regular things that we're supposed to do, when we don't do them, even if it is physical, mentally or physical on our bodies, we are used to that. And you need that, you need that in your life. And then when you take that away, whether it's like an illness or you're sick or something happened, or mentally you're just broken down, it takes a little bit of time to get back, because then you already feel like shit. Then you really feel like shit because it's mental. And then you're not being able to do the thing that you need to do to kind of keep you, right. Keep your sanity. Touchdown. Jay Jetta, Justin Jefferson. Gritty. Jetta. Jay Jetta. Love me some Jay Jetta. So fun to watch. I think he's the funnest wide receiver to watch. I mean, Tyreek, when he goes long, is like super exciting, because at any point he'll go 80. But I think if you're watching game in, game out, route running, style, swag, I think that Justin Jefferson, to me, seems like he could be the guy that breaks all the records. And he gets the closest to Jerry Rice, even over Randy Moss and T.O. and Megatron and Julio and Larry Fitzgerald. I think Jay Jetta, if he keeps playing and he can stay healthy, I think that would be the guy that could be the guy. So, you can rewind the tape, all the years. Be like, damn, that guy said that like this early in his career. But sometimes you can just feel it. You see it in college, you see it with the chemistry. And just imagine if he actually has a better quarterback. Like if he actually has a top 5 quarterback, fuck, the guy could easily get 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns if he had a good, like if you had a good quarterback and you just wanted to force feed the guy. It wouldn't be crazy to think before his career is over, he could have a 2,000 yard season and 20 tutties as a receiver and be like breaking records that we've never seen before, even more than Jerry. That's it. Or even if Burrow was thrown to him instead of Jamar Chase, I think Jefferson's numbers would be a little bit better, just based on like yak yards and what I see. Now, Jamar Chase is the closest thing to Justin Jefferson, so it's like comparing, Randy Moss to Megatron. I mean, any name you say, I can't get mad at because they're both great, but you know what I mean. Yeah, just take care of you, man. We got to take care of our mentals. Our mentals, they're important. I try to be the man. Oh. I try. I just try to, try to do the best that I can with what what cards are in front of me. So. Yeah. Well, I think, everyone, it all depends on what you read. And if you're a reader, right, some people do like, the political stuff. Some people do the sports stuff. Some people do the local, and seeing what's going on like locally in their hometown state and their cities in here. But yeah, I'm always reading a little bit of everything. And yeah, you can definitely tell things have been changing in the last few years and not necessarily in a good way. Damn, I know. Anytime we see, even like the fires and anything that happened, it's just fucking hella sad. Like we had that moment. It was like around the COVID time or right before that. Remember when the skies were all red and it was like a Resident Evil or like some Silent Hill shit. And like the fires were so bad and the smoke was so bad when we would go outside here in Oregon and in Washington, it was literally red, like just red. You couldn't see anything. It was just red. It was, I don't know. It was very crazy. Like almost like a video game or a movie or something, like fake. It felt like. Yeah. Just got to be diligent. Yeah, prayers up for that. We want to make sure that doesn't happen. This is Bandit. He founded Underdog Fantasy so that humans who really love sports play with their friends and win some big prizes. Tell your human to go to Underdog Fantasy. Yeah, and like I said, I think it just depends. You know how I am. Like sometimes, like I haven't met you guys, but there's certain people that if you watch, like I could drink a beer with this guy. Like I could go have hamburgers with this guy. We could go to a baseball game and just like sit next to each other, bullshit, and just like have a good time. Like I feel like there's certain people that you watch online that you can really feel that connection, that you feel like, you know what, I actually could see myself just like chilling. And, and then there's certain people that are, maybe they're just, you can never see it, maybe too big of a celebrity or, whatever network they're on. But I think some people give that impression. But I don't know, man, like some people will affect me different than others. But I always like had a connection with the guy. Sometimes you could tell, like, how you have like those car salesmen, right? And you'll have car salesmen that are legit. And then you'll have the car salesmen that sometimes will be not maybe as bad as used car salesman tactics, but you know what I'm saying? Like you already know what, the sticker price and all this other bullshit, like all the back and forth that you have to go through, warranty and all that other bullshit that they do. I know sometimes, this guy was, a smooth talker. I imagine there was a few, instances there, but we had a lot of common things that, that we liked and, with football and just being in sales. Anytime that I get someone that's in like either manager or like in the war room and you're doing sales, like either face to face or over the phone. And that's what I usually did for, about 20 years of my life. If I wasn't doing warehouse, I was doing phone sales. And to do phone sales, you have to be so talented because, if you do face-to-face, they can see what you look like. But if it's over the phone, they have no idea what you look like. So you have to have a nice voice and they have to like you and trust you. People aren't going to give you their credit card or their personal info if they're buying a service that, if I'm working at a center and I have to get that type of information. It's not like, oh, hey, can I get the spelling of your name? No, like you're setting people up for, service of like, whatever it is, like Verizon or Comcast or whatever that we're going over. So, but yeah, I didn't know if I would feel it, but it felt like with a little sadness and such. But then it was almost like a sense of relief where it's like, at least I got that moment, maybe a couple months before it happened. Otherwise, if I wouldn't have went to that bar at that particular time with my friend Marcos, because that was their spot, because it was like right up the road from their place where they lived at for years, even after, I broke up and everything, like they still lived in that same house area. And this was like their place. They would do video poker and they would just drink and hang out and chill outside and whatnot. And I'm glad I went over there and I talked to them. It's not like I would have avoided them. I never had any beef or there was never any awkwardness or anything. So. Oh, yeah. Especially if that's something that you used to do all the time. Yeah, but we're here, man. Anything that we can do to make things a little bit better. Of course, like I said, once NASCAR comes around, then that'll keep us preoccupied. Sometimes it's like, good to hang around positive people rather than try to put yourself in a position to, get yourself in trouble doing something that you're not supposed to do. And yeah, but we'll be here for you, man. Yeah, we appreciate you. The Norb cam. Oh, good. It's got to be somewhere in like a backup. I mean, he's got to have some shit on his computer. And if he doesn't have it saved out on his computer, it might be on the software that he used. And if he deleted some of the ones that were on the software that they provide, then maybe, YouTube's obviously their backup will have that when they can reset it and go through like a phone and program the date and go in there, I assume, and be able to, have the library. They'll maybe be able to copy the files or something. But at least, yeah, I mean, yeah, who would want to work for, long time and then have, things get hijacked and whatnot. So that's good news. Hopefully everything goes back, because I know that he's passionate about the Seahawks, and sometimes he'll do Mariners and such, but he normally sticks to Seahawks stuff. I think a majority of his stuff, but yeah, no one wants to lose their hard work, and hopefully everything goes back to normal for him. Because I imagine it's a stressful time. You invest, 9-10 years of your life. I mean, like I said, this is year 11 for me. It's year 7 on YouTube, but 11 years of recording and grinding on different platforms. It's a long time coming, but I still got a long ways to go. Yeah. And like I said, I usually don't have too many like deep or dark thoughts, but also, again, I think that when you are vulnerable and you don't feel well, like watching things that are like mentally stressing, if you're already kind of in like a weird headspace, like, when people start watching like the horror stuff or like the thriller stuff, I don't know if that's necessarily like the best if you're not mentally like, all right. You know what I mean? I feel like watching that shit like triggers people. It's like it's already kind of disturbing stuff that you're already watching. And then if you're not in a good headspace, some people can handle that stuff and it doesn't affect them at all, or they don't think it affects them. But I know with me, when I watch too many psychological thrillers or horror or scary ass shit or psychological scary shit, I can only do so much before I get fucking weirded out. And I don't know if that's the ESP in me, the empathy, sympathy, the empath in me, or just like I can only take so much dark and disturbing before it starts like weighing on my soul and like it like pushes me down and makes me feel like not normal. So, and it's not like I not feel normal, like I'm scared, like, oh God, like, like when you're a little kid and it's dark and you're fucking scared and you're like, fuck this, you have to go to sleep in the room. Like I remember when I lived at Hood River, back when I was a kid, I had one of the neighbors tap on the window at late at night, freaked the shit out of me, and that was only like, super young, like 4 or 5 years old. But I was like, I'll never forget that. That was and I think a lot of us will go through certain things, kind of like that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't need to meet anyone to really, I can pick up on people, just based on how they type, what they say. Obviously, if I meet face to face, then I can go a little bit deeper, but usually you can get a kind of a gauge on if you can put yourself in the person's shoes, where they grew up, how they grew up, where they grew up, what year was it, and how things have changed in the last 50, 60 years. So just because it was like one thing, one place, it could be totally different on the other side of the country. So your boy knows. I don't know everything, but I have a good gauge with people most of the time. Yeah. Yeah, I just like it, because, with people on big platforms, once they get a certain amount of subs and, so people I feel start looking at the person, not even like as a person anymore. It's like when we look at athletes, they're not humans anymore. They're football players, but I feel like sometimes it's like when we see certain people, it's like social media people, but you don't really see them as like, you're like, oh, I love when this guy does football, or, they got a cool chat, or, people just see it as like the person and like the personality online, rather than like a human. But I feel it's good. It's good for me. It's good for my vibe to talk about it. It'll make me feel better. Then it can give you guys a chance to, see if you relate. Most people in the room do. Probably closer to Beaverton. Yeah. Just based on traffic and everything. You can message me like on Instagram or Twitter or something. The Big Jim Cruz. Big Jim Cruz has got like lookalikes. Like I remember one time, I was like talking to him, and then it was like on his like Instagram or Twitter, and he had a post, and it's like in a whole nother place, and then all of a sudden his doppelganger, like at the gas station, they took a picture and they looked like exactly alike. Big Jim Cruz, doppelganger. Your boy knows. Crazy stuff, man. Big Eagles fan. Could be the year. Kevin Harvick. Yeah. Who else is left in the old drivers? You guys are probably already talking about it, but I imagine I'm going to scroll down and I'll see the answer. So. Well, he's not going to want to go, but they should get rid of him. The great Kali. Yeah. But if you actually watch the shows and like you pay attention to the articles and you're like watching the reactions of the people that are there, anytime it's Goldberg, no one wants to watch Goldberg. I don't think there's anyone in the United States that really wants, I don't even think Goldberg wants to watch Goldberg, right? But if they're going to pay him money to be a shadow of himself and just be the name Goldberg so they can chant it and boom, and then he'd come down there and then the sparks fly and the smoke and he blows it out and then comes down to the ring and, a couple punches and then suplex and spear and then 1, 2, 3. Right. But I mean, I think at this point, that's the one guy nobody wants to watch anymore. But I mean, I'm not sure if the Saudi thing is going to go through, but I know that they have a lot of money and connections to like real estate, and they have a lot of money plugged into many different businesses. So, and investors, and they have so much money with like the princes. So, I mean, if you were going to sell and you wanted to get a little bit more money than maybe someone in like America or Germany or Asia, you sell to them because they got all the extra oil money and the other businesses plugged in. So you could probably squeeze out a few more mil out of them just because, they're going to have a little bit more money to play around with. Kyle and Brad. Kyle Busch and Big Bad Brad Keselowski. Not the 18, but the 8. Yeah, Broncos don't even have a team anymore. They took the team away. That team gave me so much stress this year. We should just eliminate them and wait a couple years, and after the Russell Wilson thing ends, and then we can have them be a football team again. Yeah, and see right there, and if you actually read like the compensation that you have to pay to the Saints to get them, it's not like you can just, let me grab this guy. Like you are going to have to give up multiple picks, at least initial first rounder. How many first rounders? That's up to the Saints. And then you're going to have to give up like second, third, fourth. Like there's going to be, I don't know how many picks you'd have to get rid of, but what? Yeah, but there's a lot of picks that are going to go into that. Someone came in here. They had to grab something. Yeah, and unfortunately, bro, and I think most people know it too. You know what I mean? That is the worst destination in sports right now. Unfortunately, even though there's talent and Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton and Javonte Williams, but I feel that the situation is so bad that I'm not sure if anyone really would want to go there. I mean, yeah, you could end up maybe turning things around and having a little bit of success, but it's just not really ideal. And it shows you how one person or two people can really bring down a whole organization. And that's really what you've seen. We went from thinking maybe Denver could win 10 games and maybe make a Super Bowl in the next 3 to 4 years, one last run with Russ before he goes out the door. And then now it looks like, I don't even know if Russ can play football for 4 more years, you know? And it's like, and if he is, he fucking isn't starting, is he? You know, maybe they should just have him retire. Be like, Russ, this ain't working for us. I'll give you some Walmart money. You and Sierra can do a duo together, do some kind of like pop song, rap song together, and we'll move on and get a new quarterback. And they're like, all right, boom. That would be ideal. What's up, man? Yeah, just trying to come in here and hang out for just a little bit, just to see kind of, you know, how I feel with everything. Talked about you earlier. Appreciate you. You know, I don't know what was in the air or whatever, but yeah, definitely Odin's son was kind of feeling around the same way, I think, yesterday and today when we talked to each other, and then I talked to you a little bit, and yeah, I think there's a number of things, you know, but the seasonal depression, and then I just went over like the weather report, and the weather report was like rain, you know. So like the seasonal thing, and I did have a funk session, and not a good like Funk Master Flex session, like, you know, like a bad funk session where I was like not doing too well mentally. And it was around the same time last year. And it's like, even with like football going on, like even with football like going on, like sometimes it's, you still feel like it should cheer you up and make you feel better, but sometimes it don't do that. So, but I'm glad that you're in the room, brother. Oh, I bet. Yeah. Gosh, that was tough to watch, dude. I think I would rather watch I don't know, almost anything. That was tough. Oh, you did? Oh, dude, you shouldn't have. Now you did something like wild and crazy. I know you. Yes, this is not something normal. This is like extravagant. Like Shepard's like, here, Ryan, here is a house. Here is a Lambo. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it very, very much. Appreciate you. I'm almost scared to look to see what I'm looking at. I have an idea, I imagine, what it could be. All right, let me just scroll to the comments here real quick, and then I'll probably lose my mind. What's up, brother? It's Brett. All right, that sounds good. That sounds good. Yeah, we're all rooting for him. Things can get tough. He's a fighter. Oh, he says, look at it now, idiot. All right, I better go look at it now. All right, I'm almost scrolled in. All right, now I'm looking, and I'm almost scared to look. Oh, dude, you are insane. Are you kidding me, dude? Dude, you're a special person, man. I can't believe you just did that. You're wild. You're wild, dude. Oh, you're wild. Hold on. Wow. Thank you so much, man. You are a true one of one. This is insane. You are crazy, dude. This is crazy. Seriously, this is like some Mr. Beast shit or something. I don't know what's going on right now. Like what is happening? What is it? We're breaking the dono record and the single donation record and the dono record of all time right now. Is that what's going on? Oh my gosh, you are crazy. I don't even. Wow, dude, you are something else. So let me. Dude, you're wild, dude. You're wild, and we're not talking pennies. You're wild, dude. You're. Thank you, man. I mean, I wish I could be like in this, mindset of when I was just, you see me like jump out the window or, you know, hit the gritty or something. But yeah, things have been kind of rough for me the last couple days. But yeah, I guess then this needs to happen. So I need to, I guess we have to, well, the actual record will be determined by what we have at the end or as we go along. But thank you so much, man. I mean, I don't even know what I can say words wise. I mean, I've had people do, 5 racks, you know what I mean? Like 5 separate times, and anyone that puts up 5 bills or does 500 and you get that 5 times, one time, maybe someone's just trying to show love or whatever. But when people do it on a, pretty regular basis, throughout when you've started, because those all 5 have been within a year, in a 1-year period. And I guess we're starting off 2023 with a bang, and I'm not sure if that record's going to be broken anytime soon. And it's going to not only break the record for the single, it's going to take us to a brand new record, because the record prior was 1320. So based on what already we had in there, like 100 and some change, 150 something. So we're already at 14 something. So I don't even know what we're going to hit. And this is so unexpected. Like, I don't know. I mean, if I had tears to produce down in the stream right now, I would. I can't just force myself. I'm not one of those crazy ass actors that can just do the crying on cue. But thank you so much, man. Like, you obviously have always supported. You work really hard. You're always doing good things, for other people. You see a family in need and they look hungry. Boom, you get them a hotel room for a night. And so that way they don't have to sleep on the street, or you see someone that's hungry. Boom, you get them some food. People at work aren't going to celebrate the employees for doing a good job. And maybe they look like they're going to quit. Boom, you go in there and you buy them 4 pizzas. Not your role. But I mean, that's just the type of person that you are. So, when I get something like this from a person like you, it even means more than just a regular person or someone that maybe just is super rich. Because I know how hard that, how many hours you put in, and, you're away from home, you're away from the dog, you're away from the fam. Want to be able to put your jerseys on and, chill on the couch and stretch the legs out and, eat some good food and relax, but you're always hustling and grinding, at this airport and that airport, trying to be a good person. And I appreciate you. It's you. You're a 101, man. We still have people like Nate the Great that is in the hospital right now. That he's done one of the 5 racks. He's done 3 of them, and we had Holly Hundo. Shep did the other one. Thank you so much, man. And I was going to say, who knows what we were going to be looking at, throughout the month wise and everything. And I mean, obviously, I try not to, blow money, and so some of this will go back to you guys. Obviously, some of it will obviously be put towards things that need to be done, with like bills and rent and everything. But obviously, some will go back. So I will buy something nice for Shep. I will. That's a guarantee. Cyberpunk will get his jacket that I was going to get. So, yeah, appreciate you guys. You guys are crazy. $1,300 dono. Boy, man, you're crazy, man. I appreciate you. I know. It's like, oh, wow. My goodness. Yeah. You guys, you just never know when your blessings are going to come. You can, and sometimes, I'll be very honest. It's like, this is tough sometimes for me. You guys know that. I see, it's like, to be able to make a full-time living, you got to have good people. You got to have quality people, and also if you don't have like a lot of subs or a lot of people in the room, there's more pressure, to be able to grind it out. And, hopefully you get to a point where, people are going to support you whenever, because if you got people that are supporting you, they're going to support you at your best. They're going to support you at your worst, as long as you're authentic and real. And, if you have a kind of a relationship and you can build that chemistry, people will be there for you for life. You know what I mean? But a lot of times it doesn't last that long because people change. But I know one person that won't change, and that's definitely Shep. Appreciate you, man. Oh, scholarship from Bama. Nice. Awesome. More of a reason for you to have the passion and root for the team you've been rooting for 30, 40, 50 years. Now you can get someone from the family to go there. Very proud. Awesome. Congratulations with that. Yeah. I mean, fuck, dude. I mean, how am I? How am I supposed to respond to that? I mean, I don't even know. I know that if I wasn't in kind of a funk, there would be some more screaming and dancing and doing some different things, you know what I mean? But I have to slowly kind of get myself there, but I am eternally grateful. And I am going to buy you something really nice, whether you like it or not. So, some fancy Mitchell and Ness jersey will be coming your way, because that's what you do. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people, that's where things are different. When other people get things, there may be an initial acknowledgement, but usually not an acknowledgement after the stream is over, or a personal message, or even getting the person back something that they gave you. Because obviously that is a gift that some people don't even get that in like a month or two. You know what I mean? Like some people, it takes a long time for that. And yeah, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. We're just breaking all fucking records today, huh? Pretty amazing that you can break all these records with less than 20 people in the room. And the funny thing is, when we broke the record last time, the 1,320, we only had, I think, 15 to 16 in the room, like the whole time. It was just pretty much, somewhere between that 10 and 16 mark. I mean, sometimes people, I got to go and come back, but I'm not even sure if we broke 25 in that particular stream. I think 20 or less. I mean, I think it was around like that 15 or 16 person in the room mark. So it shows you, I mean, you could have 15, 16 people, 10 people, but you might have, 9 goats out of 10, so appreciate you guys very much. You guys are just crazy, man. Yeah, I mean, and like sometimes it's hard, even when I'm, not in a good mindset. But like I said, I'm honest. I can't stream if I'm not mentally here. Like if I'm not mentally invested, I can't give you all the mannerisms and be the authentic, who I am as when I call a game. I have to give you all the photos and, give you my all. And it's like, if I have to be 50% of myself just to make money, I'd rather not stream at all, because it's a part of who I am. If you notice and you go back through like anything, like everything was one take, nothing was like redone. And, it's like, I don't really feel that there's ever really been a bad stream. I feel that it's always been engaging. There's going to be different topics, some a little bit more serious, and some are going to be wrestling or sports and whatnot. But yeah, I appreciate the support tenfold, man. Appreciate that. You're like, stop being depressed, bitch. He's like, look at this. You got the bankroll, man. You're too good to me, man. Yeah. What it's like you got people like him and people like Louise. Boom. Yeah. Well, we already broke the record, and now we just broke the record again. So now we set a brand new record. We set the brand new record. A bang, bang, bang. We broke the record with 10 people in the room. We broke the record. 10 people in the room. $50 holla. We're like the NWO. New world order. For life, brother. Oh, yeah. Did we do this? Do I have to update that too? My God, you guys are nuts. going to look really nice on the screen. Look at this. We broke the dono record. 1,500? Single? 13? My, oh my. That looks good on the bottom. Then that's going to make people look at that and they'll be like, oh shit. Like they see that shit on Twitter. They're like, look at this motherfucker. He only got 9 people in the room. What a loser. And then they look at that on the bottom and they're like, oh fuck. I think that shows how impressive it really is, because if you can hit a huge number with nobody in the room or very little, I mean, just imagine once we get to a point where we have 100 in the room or 1,000 in the room, that will be some record breaking shit. Like who knows what you hit if you have like 1,000 people in the room and you got 100 heavy hitters. You could probably get like to 10 G's in a stream, and then we could buy something for all the fans and do like a bunch of jersey giveaways or something. I mean, how cool would that be? Appreciate you, my brother. Bang, 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 boom, 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 breaking records left and right like we're the NWO. Hollywood Hogan, Sex X-Pac, Kevin Nash, Diesel, Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, rest in peace. The only wrestler I've ever cried over dying, ever. I've never cried for anybody else except for Scott Hall. That shows you how important that person was to me. I definitely will cry for Nash and Hogan when that happens too. I won't do it for very many. Macho Man was tough. Elizabeth, that was tough for me, but yes, Nate the Great. Yeah. $500 3 times, great guy, convinced him to get on Twitter so he could communicate with more of us on here, always working. He's doing the Denny's thing, like doing like the manager and the general manager and, grinding, 10 to 16 hour days. Yeah. He's not doing too good right now. We're definitely praying for him. He's in the hospital. So I hope, you have to just pray and just hope things get a little bit better in the other direction. So, 1502, 1320. So you pretty much almost beat the record by just the single dono that you did. So. Kyle, and the answer is no. And will I ever again in the future? No. Your boy's good. Yeah, dude. Yeah, you just trying to like do like one of those things like Lifestyles and the Rich and Famous, or like the Hidden Boss show. Like the boss dresses up as like the fucking KFC employee, and then the other manager is like yelling at the owner of the company. Fucking idiot, flip the chicken. And then the guy comes out there. He's like, dude, I'm the fucking owner of this fucking shit. And then the guy's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And you're fired. Except in this case, just a huge donation. Appreciate you, man. $1,500 with like 10 people. Pretty amazing. Appreciate that. Yeah. And it's like, you always wish that, you can find people that, work really hard and then maybe, it's not going to affect them in a way from someone else that maybe doesn't have the same type of job. But even with that being said, no matter how much money a person makes, it's always going to be a decision whether they make a lot or a little to give you any of it. I mean, to anyone to give, as a, help and support and dono to, better someone else's life for what they do as their dream. It is a dream, you know what I mean? And I think that a lot of people don't understand it. And sometimes it's surreal, but I've worked really hard for this. And I feel that it's just feels really good to have people go so above and beyond, even when I'm not in a good, mental headspace. But again, I think that's another piece is like, if you have a connection with, people, like it doesn't matter, what age, what race, how old, if you're going to vibe, you're going to vibe. So, oh man. Yeah. And I know how hard you work, you know what I mean? And like I said, I had a revelation, with my life when I was like watching some of the shows, like the Alaskan shows and stuff, not just like Ancient Aliens, but watching like the shows that where they're like Life Below Zero in Alaska. And I started to realize why I like that, and Wicked Tuna and Swamp People. I like it because of the hard work. I respect people that work hard and do things that most people can't do. And when I watch people do those things, I don't care if it's, going for tunas that are 10 grand, or if you're doing the gator thing, and trying to cut down that population, and you have those type of vibes and that history, or, or if you're doing life below zero and you're in Alaska and you're in the middle of fucking nowhere and you got to take care of yourself, be self-sufficient and get your own firewood, get your own moose and get your fish. And if you don't get that shit, you fucking die, you starve. And, I don't know. It's just very cool to me to be able to see how other people live and how they work hard. And I feel that if someone is a grinder, I don't really get along with people that are lazy. If people are lazy, I don't really get along with you. I just don't like to be around people that, you want to try to have your circle be as a similar vibe. But of course, some of us are we're just, insane. I mean, fanatic level. And I just, grind. So I get that, but still it's, you guys are a special group. Yeah, man, you guys are awesome. I don't even know what to do with myself. Bang, 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 boom, 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 bang, bang, bang. Yeah, I could have never thought in a billion years that if we were going to break something, I was like, oh, today? I was like, no, not today. I was like, I'm going to throw up a Macho Man because I really love this photo. I was like, I'll just talk a little bit on how I'm feeling, watch a little bit of AEW, and then, yeah, and just kind of see where it goes, and then hopefully by the time I'm done, then I feel a little bit better. And and I wasn't even really thinking about numbers honestly at all. I mean, sometimes I go in thinking like, oh man, I hope that hope we get a good turnout, and and I have realistic expectations on what a good turnout is. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's not going to be like other people's standards of how many people in a room is a good number, but oh man. Yeah, but thank you so much, man. I don't know what can I throw up like photo wise for you, dude? Because I mean that's one of. I mean, like I said, I feel that's one of the nicest things that anyone has ever done. And it's like also when we donated money when my buddy's dog was dying to have the surgery, and they needed like $2,000 in like a matter of like 3 or 4 days, or the dog was gonna fucking die. And he already sold a bunch of his graded cards and sold like $2,000 of his like kind of precious like shit, like selling off all his shit just to make sure the dog survives. And then we raised a good chunk there, and I gave like 1,000, more than 1,000 of my own money, from people in that regard, and that's a lot of money, you know what I mean, to be able to. But I don't regret it one bit, because it's like you could have like 1,000 or $1,300, but if it went to something that was needed and it made a difference. And as you guys know, like with a lot of us, our dogs are our family. I mean, you could have cats too, but I feel dogs is a different connection. It's a deeper love, a deeper connection. You can have a deep connection, I feel, with a cat, but with a dog, there's more personality. And depending on the breed, it's a lot of us, we can't even imagine life without, animal. So that's just how it goes. I think, we need that. So, oh, I need to do some, shit, man. You did. Wow, man. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can't just start dancing out here like a Jabberwocky. I can throw a Jabberwocky photo up though, if I oh man. See if I can find a good Jabberwocky photo. I love watching these guys. I mean, just like anytime you can watch, because obviously my favorite artist to listen to is E40. So I listen to like E40 and like Be Legit, Too Short, Snoop. I'll do some of the newer stuff, but I just like listening to the E40 channel when I take Paisley for a walk. That's primarily the one I listen to. They have like a Drake channel as a second one, but I don't know. I just rather stick to the kind of the West Coast vibe music and stuff, and that's a nice one too. They always knock it out of the park. No one is better than them. I know you making it rain, dude. Appreciate you. All right, I need some Atlanta Falcons or some Atlanta Braves here.
Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy there. It's a matchup that nobody saw coming, Kurt, but when we look at the Seahawks here, how can they set up Geno for success against the best defense in the league?
Man, you guys are crazy. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. 15:02 and counting. My gosh. Yes. I mean, if you compare them to anybody, I mean, they're probably the most famous, but they're the best. I mean, they put in the most time and effort with their choreography. And I mean, you don't get booked for the big shows. I mean, they started off little and then worked their way up. But I mean, I think about it. If you're opening up, during like a NBA All-Star game at halftime or something, or pregame, I mean, they're only going to do, someone that's good. Typically, they're not going to be like, oh God, what are they doing for this halftime show or pregame show? So. All right, let's do that. That's a good one. We can do that for you. Saw this come open a number of times, but if I'm Geno and I'm the Seattle Seahawks, I know it might sound counterintuitive to leave Nick Bosa one-on-one on the backside, but I believe you spread them out. It allows you to attack them quicker and more efficiently.
Counterintuitive, terrifying, same. On the other side of this, we have Brock Purdy, who, yes, in a small sample size has been very impressive. We got to give him this prop. But what do you like most about his game from what you've seen from the young QB?
What I like is that he's making consistent reads and he's processing information really, really well. What you want to see is he's not going to be asked to throw the ball 45 times a game. You're going to ask him to make the right plays and make the big throws down the field. And we've seen that over and over again from Brock Purdy in this short period of time that he's been starting. And we'll go back to this game that he played against the Seattle Seahawks. It's designed to go to the backside slant here. 4 receivers left. They pop the defensive end out. So watch him scan that. He sees everybody coming up to Christian McCaffrey, which he draws a lot of attention. Now he's up over the top to George Kittle. That's George Kittle do the rest, getting the ball into the end zone. This particular play right here, just a 3-level play to the left-hand side. We got a deep pylon, a flat, and an over. You read that corner first. He's going to cover the deep pylon.
Got to get the good ones.
Squeeze of that outside backer down low, and another second-level jump throw consistently.
Yeah.
Reading and processing information. And this might be my favorite. Inside pressure, see pressure, attack pressure.
Well, could be, like I said, I'm hoping it'll be a Bama in Georgia so we can get a really good natty, because I can't go through another 70-point to 10-point or 6-point game. That was that fucked up my mental health a little bit. I won't lie. I was like, I'm already going through like a lot of shitty NFL games that I have to sit through. And I mean, you can still be hardcore into football, but not enjoy, some of football, especially if you're watching so much of it. It's like, fuck, man. Like sometimes some of the shit is like unwatchable.
Super Wildcard Weekend presented by Verizon Saturday through Monday. Visit NFL.com/schedule for the full slate.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if they have different polls, but then obviously some people already have their like rankings out or, way too early rankings and whatnot. But yeah, you've only lost one game in 2 years. Why wouldn't you be the favorites going into the next year? Dude, I bet. But it wasn't just me. I think most people were like, okay, they had an awesome, dominant, win. But gosh, I mean, it was like you manhandled them where it was like a varsity team versus a freshman team. Like it wasn't even like enjoyable. Like, I mean, I know enjoyable for Georgia fans because, of course, anytime you're winning and then you win by a lot, you're loving it. It makes you even look more dominant. But gosh, as far as like entertainment factor for anyone other than a Georgia fan, that was probably some of the roughest football I've ever watched besides Georgia beating the shit out of Oregon. First game of the season. I had to watch 2 of them. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Buying a home? Rocket Mortgage will cover 1% of your rate for the first year at no cost to you with Inflation Buster. That could save you thousands. That's more road trips, more spa days, more of what you love. Plus, if rates drop within 3 years of your home purchase, you get exclusive savings when you refinance with Rate Drop Advantage. That's more cash in your pocket. Save when you buy today and refinance tomorrow. Don't miss these big savings. Visit inflationbuster.com.
That's the DQ Cheeseburger Lovers deal. 2 singles for $5 or 2 doubles for $7 for a limited time. So, how is it?
Yeah, I mean 1 or 2. I mean, you would think it would be, Alabama 1, Georgia 2, or Georgia 1, Alabama 2. But I think after winning the championship that way, it would be almost impossible not to put you guys 1 to start the season because it's like you guys are a young team. It's not like you guys are an old team or anything. So. Yeah, the rivalry is going to be very good for Bama and Georgia. It's in that regard, it's going to be spicy. It'll be like Ohio State, Michigan, where it's like you're going to look forward to any game Georgia and Alabama play, like even more now because you've seen how Alabama had dominance, and now you have Georgia with 2 years in a row. It's going to be interesting to see the back and forth, and as long as the coaches stay the same with Saban and Smart, this could be a very crazy run for both guys in the next like 5 to 10 years if they keep going. Oh, yeah, of course he was. David Pollock. Yes. And we all saw that. He wasn't saying anything that wasn't true, though. I mean, when you lose 1 game in 2 years and you win in the championship game by like $1 billion, yeah, it's okay. You can say, hey, if it's you win 1 championship, it's one thing. But when you win the second one, the way that you did, I mean, you could argue the first team was better. I think we could go that route if you want to argue, you know what I mean, with all those players that they had compared to, I mean, they're still going to have NFL players on this team, but I think some Georgia fans would say talent-wise, last year's team was better, but shit, you were able to go undefeated. So you've only lost 1 game in 2 years. So I ain't a dummy. I know the stats. Of course, anytime you lose that many, and it's not like you're in Alabama at that point where you could lose 15 and, Alabama's fine. They're going to be number 1, number 2, number 3 every single year. And you don't really see them peaking below 4, really, you know what I mean, that often. So, but, since it was a brand new thing, I mean, it was a great accomplishment, but usually when you you went to one earlier, a few years back, you lost. And then it took you a while to get back again, 5, 6, 7 years. And then you get there, and then, you want to make sure that you're putting up a good performance, and then you won with all those guys. So usually it's like a build up, and then you're like, okay, all the guys put in everything. Boom. We won barely. And then, now it's time for a rebuild, even though we're still good. And you're going to get recruits to come that normally wouldn't want to go to the school because of the natty whole, hey, maybe we can win another one, or, oh, you guys are building something here. I see it. I want to be a part of that. So. Yeah, Will's overrated in my opinion. I would do Geno 1,000%. I can't even put Will in the same category. You know what I mean? That's a project QB. You know what I mean? Like, even Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are going to look like shit from time to time. They're not going to look very good in certain games. It might take a year or two for them to get their feet underneath them and see what team they go to, depending on if the Colts have all the supporting cast to make it better for CJ Stroud or wherever Bryce Young goes. So, yeah. Whenever I see Will's name thrown out there, it's like a hype thing on ESPN and stuff. But I mean, if you watch the tape and you watch him, some people like him more than others. But to me, it's, certain guys are franchise guys and other guys look like more like project QBs. And if you're a project QB, you better have the best coach and the best O-line and best receivers and like a very good supporting cast to have success within the first 2 years. Because if not, you probably will struggle, and who knows where you'll be in 2 or 3 years. Some guys are a little overrated. So, and next year your schedule is easy, bro. I looked at it, dude. The hardest one you have is Tennessee, so you can go undefeated again next year, unless you get Alabama, and you go that route, and then you guys can duke it out there. So. Yeah, but that's what the media is telling, and that's what people are saying in like chat rooms and stuff. But that doesn't mean that Jalen Carter can't turn it on and be a good NFL player. You know what I'm saying? Like, we wanted to see more, obviously in the championship game and in the run and towards the end, and people will have their opinions. But a lot of people that have opinions, they never even watch the tape. They just, feed off other people's comments and then just ride with it. I don't like this guy. This guy's not very good. But you got to actually take the time to watch the games, and then you can make the opinion. But Jalen might be overvalued. I obviously Will gives you a little more because you could have him standing up or 3 fingers in the dirt. He could play D end or outside or inside. You can move Will around in a couple different spots. With Jalen, I mean, you're pretty much looking at nose tackle and 3-4 or D tackle, on either side and 4-3. So. And we didn't really see the explosiveness. Like, they were like, oh, this guy could be like the next Warren Sapp, Aaron Donald. Like, I didn't see anything that reminded me of any Warren Sapp or Aaron Donald or really anybody. Like, even like a Vita Vea, if he's like the 6th best. Like, I didn't really see a whole lot. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely would be like, okay, if he's high up there, I mean, if you don't get him at 5, I mean, the guy could slide to 15 or 18. I mean, there's no guarantee he's going to go top 5 or top 10. But we'll see with like the combine and the drills, and sometimes that'll up your stock and whatnot. But I don't know. I wasn't really too impressed. I think it was more of like a hype thing rather than like, oh my gosh, like this is a must see guy. Like, you got to get the next Warren Sapp or Aaron Donald or something, Yeah, you guys will play next year. Right. But when you're number 1, people want to see like, okay, they need to see like the threat, if this guy is that good, to go that high. I mean, what kind of difference maker are we talking about? Not just like a run stuffer, but a guy that can get to the quarterback and maybe get like 6 to 12 sacks, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you have a D tackle, you don't expect a D tackle to get 20 sacks, you know what I mean? Or even like a Warren Sapp or whatever, or Aaron Donald, those are like freak of natures. But I mean, if you're going to draft a guy high, you want to think, okay, 10 sacks, you know what I mean? Or like 8, you know what I mean? Like, I got to be able to see something from you if you're going to take you at this really high number. Otherwise, if you're like all the others, that will typically get like maybe 4 to 8 sacks and be like a good player, but not like a franchise player. Well, you're not drafting a guy that high that gets 4 to 8 sacks, number 5 overall. You can get a guy like that way later. So, but if a guy can give you 15 sacks from like D tackle position or more, then you're like, holy shit, maybe this guy is worth a top 5 because it's a game wrecker like an Aaron Donald or Warren Sapp. But how many of those guys fucking exist? Jalen Carter ain't one. I'll tell you right now. At least it don't look like to me. I know you're a Georgia Bulldog, but I wanted as a fan to see more. I just can't give you like, oh yeah, he's a Bulldog, he's great. Like, I know he's good, and I've seen him do some good things, and I need to know like his injury status, if he's has anything lingering, is because I don't think it's an effort thing with him. I just wanted to see some more explosive plays. But again, I got to go back and I'm going to watch more film. And then, obviously when we get closer to the draft, and we'll see how he does in his drills and his combine. And I hope he does well. I hope he flips the switch and he turns into a good, NFL player. I hope so. Oh, God. 50% still want a quarterback like Stroud or Geno. Oh, my God. It makes you understand. Some people, they just don't understand football. They think they know football, but, it's like, okay, you finally got some good chemistry, right? And he broke Russ's record. You saw, it doesn't matter that, it's a guy that's a lower name. He proved himself, and then you had a good rookie play. I mean, are you that fickle and you just want to give up on him because he's not, Patrick Mahomes, the name? Geno Smith. It's not as sexy. It's like, don't be stupid. Like, keep building the defense, get some run stuffers, right? Keep building up the secondary, beef up the O-line. You got something there. You know what I mean? There's no point of trying to sacrifice, and you'd be stupid to go for a quarterback over a defensive lineman or a linebacker, a significant defensive player. You guys need that. There was many games that were lost that could have been won if you guys just had maybe 2 or 3 more defensive players on the roster that had a little bit more talent. You don't need to necessarily have like 8 out of 11 or 9 out of 11. That's ideal. That's when you get Super Bowl worthy, when you have like 9 guys out of 11 on defense that are fucking killers and studs, and they just, go after anyone, and that they're solid, and you have a couple guys that are maybe average, but it don't matter because you got 9 others that are amazing, right? But, with Seattle, you just need to slowly but surely, but that's football though. Some people, that doesn't surprise me, And like I said, it's like, what do they expect CJ Stroud to be? Who they expect him to be? What, what are they going to compare that to? Justin Fields? I mean, if I had a choice between Justin Fields and Geno, I'm going Geno. I mean, based off just what I'm seeing, because Justin Fields can't throw yet, or I'm not sure if he will ever be able to throw. And for the Bears to be good, I mean, you got to have someone that can throw the football, unless he's going to sustain a long career running for 2 touchdowns every game and 100 yards, but I doubt that he'll be able to do that before getting injured. So, yeah. I mean, there's always going to be different narratives that get pushed out. But like I said, for me, I always don't listen to all the smoke. It's like you just have to watch and put in the time and read and watch the film yourself. Otherwise, if you just listen to what everyone else says, it could be, just all smoke also, because they want to act like they're not interested in a guy, but in reality, they love the guy. They're saying, oh, this guy's too short. He can't run routes. He's got some issues off the field. We're not interested. And then all of a sudden, a week later, boom. This team just drafted that guy. What are you talking about? You said he had fucking problems off the field and it was a no. And then all of a sudden you lied and you didn't even give a shit about that in the first place. You love the guy. You don't even give a shit about that. And then, so a lot of times you can't really rely on what a lot of stuff that's coming out. They can push whatever narrative they want, but I mean, sometimes if it feels like a stretch, it probably is. And a lot of you guys are smart enough to recognize that. Only I don't want to say the dumb ones, but I mean, if you get baited in, based off a horrible take, they're doing it to get, you to click on it, to leave a comment, to engage, because they know how ridiculous it is. That's the only way for them to work around and get ratings and the clickbait, but a lot of us have already gone down that route where maybe we bought in at first, but then once you start seeing that pattern that people are trying to get people to, go into their articles or videos based off this bullshit take, I mean, most of us were like, no, okay, I'm not falling for this bullshit. I'm not going to argue with I'm not going to argue with a bunch of people. Like, it's not going to go anywhere. You get especially football people can be stubborn as shit. That. Oh yeah. I think the best thing for the Saints would be is if Sean Payton came back and wanted to coach there. Because now we don't even think that Michael Thomas ever is going to play football ever again, or like on a high level. Maybe he will, but I think that would be the best thing for the Saints, because Dennis Allen ain't good enough to be head coach. You need to move him back to D coordinator like Todd Bowles, and you need to get someone, that's more suited for the head coaching role. So you said Miles Murphy could be the dude. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's I don't think there's a thing where people don't like him. It's just that if you're going to draft him in the top 10 or top 5, you don't want to get a player that might be a bust or like not, be as good of a player. Because if you could have like skipped on him and then went to the 2nd or 3rd or 4th, maybe in the 2nd round, and could have got someone better that you needed in the 1st, I think that's where the concern is. Because it's like, okay, you invest a very high pick in the guy, and if the guy gets you, let's say 3.5 sacks, are you fucking happy? Hell no, you're not happy. And then you're like hoping that the next year gets better. But I mean, if a guy caps out at like 3.5 or 5, that was a wasted pick. That could have been someone else. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to be drafting a guy super high, you have expectations that, not everyone's going to be Aaron Donald or Warren Sapp, but if you're going to draft high, you need results that are high. You don't want draft high and get a shit player, or a guy that gets injured all the time, even though you can't predict that. So.
mental health. Feel like a relief and find
Of course, all the Seahawk, blogs and all the Seahawk people, they're always going to be talking about it a lot. And I know a lot of you too, you and Reflect, you guys are going to read. You guys, sometimes might pop your head in this one or that one. But again, like I said, sometimes going to certain places like that, it's tough because if you get an opinionated, host or you get certain things that are said, I mean, it's some people are going to know football. Some people may think they know football, but a lot of times you get, 500 Seattle Seahawk fans in a room. It ain't going to be pretty, and that would be for any fan base. Like I said, I can't even do Tampa Bay or Ducks, and those aren't really like threatening fan bases typically. Usually the Tampa Bay fans that are the most cutthroat, they do like the kind of like the back and forth with the Saint fans, and it just like never ends. It gets kind of old, and I don't want to be a part of that, The negativity is just too much hate, There's no time for that for me, so. Of course, either one would be great, but either one is going to be a project too, which is going to be like a Jalen Hurts, Justin Fields, Trey Lance type of player. So it's not going to be all peaches and cream right away. It could be, you know what I mean? But again, if you get those on the Colts, you need more wide receivers and tight ends, offensive line, a little bit of a lift, and then some more defensive help. But, we'll see how it goes. First, you just need to be able to get Darius Shaq Leonard healthy for a full season and elite, being back to number 3, top 3, or number 1 at his position, right? And then getting Jonathan Taylor healthy for the full year. And if those two are healthy, then you're hitting 10 wins. If they're not healthy, you're not hitting 10 wins. That's as simple as day, regardless of the quarterback. And I assume winning back-to-back championships, even if he doesn't go drafted or if he goes 6th or 7th round, if he goes undrafted, guaranteed someone will swoop him if he doesn't go in the first 7 rounds, and they'll give him a shot to be the backup and second string, and second or third string. And I would, I don't see why that they wouldn't give a guy like that a shot, see what he can do. Yeah. Should be playing every year. Yeah, so they weren't getting 100% effort because they didn't want to get hurt. Everyone's got a fucking narrative, man. Yeah, but if you're wanting to be able to get drafted and get the most money, you got to show out in the big games and in the big moments, and that's how you get the big money. You get 3 sack lunches in the Natty. What do you think you're going to get money wise if you go top 5? You got that as leverage and collateral. Like, listen, I just got fucking 3 sack lunches, yum yum yum, in the Natty. I'm going to be a top 5 pick. You're going to, if you have an agent, you're going to get more money. You're going to be able to negotiate. So, yeah, that's a funny narrative. Like, they didn't really want to put out that much effort. They knew they were going to win. So they just fucking, they were just, loafing around, right? Yeah, we need, like I said, at first, like, someone other than Alabama or New England, and we think that we love that so much. But with New England being replaced, it doesn't matter because you have new teams like the Bengals and Bills, and there's new teams that are going to get better. But I think with Bama, since there's only usually a handful of good football teams every year, not having them in the playoff to me, it was horrendous. I would have rather seen them over TCU. I would have had Michigan, Ohio State, Bama, Georgia, and obviously having Ohio State and Georgia or Alabama, Georgia. Those would be the only ideal championship games that we should have had. So, yeah, he's nice. Him or Marvin Harrison Jr. should get picked first as a wide receiver. And sometimes people are going to lean towards Quentin because even though Marvin Harrison Jr. got trained by his dad and other people, and he's got the NFL secrets, and we know he's great, body size, 6'4", 215 in his body, like this guy could be the next big thing. But sometimes, when you go for a guy like this, there's going to be injuries. And then for me, it's like, I love this guy's like potential and talent, but I would probably go with Marvin Harrison Jr. just because of the dad connection. That way I know that he's got all the secrets about diet and route running and regimen. He's got an advantage. It's like Johnson could end up doing it, but yeah, those will be the two that I'll be watching, and they could be impact guys. Hopefully they end up turning into guys that are top 15 receivers within the first couple of years. Yeah, he's small though. He's small and get fucked up. Like, yeah, he got hurt. He got hurt this year for like a 2, 3, 4 game stretch. So, I mean, he's talented, but that frame has got to be much bigger. I think that's a no-brainer. That's got to be defense. You know what I mean? Because like, who do you actually got? You don't really got any names. You know, it's not the same roster as it was from before. You need to get names back in that building. So even though offense would be tempting just to like keep, you know, doing that side, but you got to be able to stop someone at some point. You know, you don't want to just have these like offensive weapons and then all of a sudden they get tired or go on a 3 and out. Defense is out there for fucking 50 minutes out of 60. You know, and that ain't going to work. So you got a lot of spots to work on. But O-line, defense would probably be the primary, for at least from what I've seen from your team. Yeah, I don't think they should go that high for a quarterback, though, because you got Geno, you know what I mean? At that point, there's way too many needs on defense and O-line to spend a pick that's highly valued, even though that guy could learn, right? And they could possibly do that. But if you really think about it, what's going to be more important, that or someone that you can plug in on the line immediately, or someone to plug on the D-line immediately, you know, pairing up with the guy that you already picked early on. So if you can get 2 run stuffers up front, that's going to be, I think, more beneficial. You know, I don't even know if that guy's going to be able to pan out. I mean, he seems like he's got some talent, you know what I mean? But I'm not sure if I'm a believer of him. I know we've watched quite a few games of him this season, but I don't know. Some people believe in him. Some people are like a little, you know, it's kind of like a project QB. I'm not sure if I would go that high for him. I mean, you know, we got a couple Florida fans that usually, you know, will talk about him too. So Falcons. Draft QB. They already got one. What's up, brother? Yeah, 6'5", 275. The Michael Bennett. Yeah, you guys have been. And then, like I said, even after Frank Clark left, there was like a void. You know, you could kind of feel like when certain guys are on your team and they're doing well, and like the Michael Bennett and the Avril, like you remember those guys. And it's like when you don't have guys that can get to the quarterback defense, it's hard to watch because it's like you're just waiting for them to rip you apart. And you're like, oh, okay, how many yards did we give up on that? Oh, 7. Okay. Oh, 17. Oh, -2. And then boom, you know, 64. Like, you know, it's tough. But, you know, if you guys can get that, and you can get a couple guys to pan out, that could be. And I imagine, like I said, usually the Seahawks are going to look at Northwest guys. They'll look at guys in the Pac-12. So that's also another thing to look at. You have to look at previous like drafts and look to see if they're going to be looking at Stanford guys or guys that are in the Pac-12. And every once in a while they'll bounce around and get, you know, the most talented guy, you know, even if it's like a Ole Miss, like a DK Metcalf. But if they feel it's a fit, they're going to grab it. Yeah. Well, Shep Mike is the biggest Bama fan of like planet Earth. He's been a Bama fan for 30, 40, 50 years. So since you're Georgia and he's Bama, there's always you guys will always have the banter.
Do you want to be a better investor? Public.com is an investing platform that helps you build, grow, and manage your portfolio easier than ever before. With Public's powerful tools, you control how you invest.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be things that I don't think people really think that are happening unless you know, are aware or have, you know, friends or friends of friends, or if you just kind of know how things work. Yeah, all kinds of crazy stuff. Mike says Saints ain't getting nobody. Oh yeah. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah. Raheem. Yeah. Did you see what we did today, Jameson? So I had to. Well, I know. But we hit an amazing number. I wasn't even expecting it to hit a crazy number or anything. And I know you just came into the room, and I appreciate it. $5 holla. But yeah, we broke the dono record with like 10 people in the room. Would you believe that? Bang, bang. Boom, boom. Little NWO. $5 holla. And so the original record was 1,320. And we got a single donation of, you know, just a small amount of 1,300 from Shep, you know, just a small amount, nothing huge, right? Of course, there's breaking records left and right, and now we're over 1,500, and it's pretty special. Jameson Meza, $5 holla. And yeah, I was just trying to talk to people and let them know I'm not really doing too good mentally in these last couple days, but I figured I'd just hop on for a little bit and try to tell a story and see how I feel, and yeah, it's just nice to be able to hang out with you guys. $5 holla for my boy Jameson Meza. Let me get Jameson today. Let's get him a nice Derrick Henry. A Derrick Henry. Boom. $5 holla. Appreciate you breaking records left and right with a small amount in the room. Oh, is that what we're at? Oh, $1,507. Let's get to 1,600. They're like, what? There's only 8 people in here. How the hell did that happen? Don't worry about it, Mike. There's been plenty of times where you saved the stream, or trust me, I'm like with Sarah, and it looks like it's just going to be like a very challenging stream, and you've single-handedly saved us more times than I can count on my 2 hands, where we could have hit like a 5 or a 10 or a $20 over like a 4-hour period, but you supported and we ended up hitting 100 to 200 when it could have been 20. So don't even worry about it, man. Whenever things happen, I just want you to get better. So don't worry. I know that you're the type of person that would totally do it, and you've gone above and beyond every time. There's not a lot of people that will do their own dono train just to support me, like $10 and then another $10 and then another 10 and then another 10 and then a 20 and then a 20 and a 20. That's a lot of genuine love, and I appreciate that. And people notice, they know. All right. Thank you, brother. I will, dude. I'll have to message you after the stream is over, dude. Thank you so much. What can you fucking say? $1,300 dono. My man. Shepard Williams. Always doing big things. Doing big things. Just like the Jabberwockies. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. I don't even know what to say, man. 1,300, breaking the record with the dono, only with a few people in the room. Thank you so much, man. I'll message you here afterwards. Thank you for blessing me. And I know how hard you work, for everything that you do. So I appreciate that. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be getting you a nice gift out of that. So some of that will be coming back your way, but it'll be something cool, like some kind of Mitchell and Ness, or we'll figure something special, or maybe I can get you tickets to something at some point. So that way you can go to a baseball game, obviously in the spring or whenever your schedule allows you to. I'd like to be able to do something cool for you like that, like get you some really good tickets that maybe you wouldn't buy, maybe so you can take a date or something. You got one of those girls, that you may be in town, you want to take them, or you got your boy, you want to go to the game, could maybe do something like that, or we'll figure a jersey or something. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. $1,300. He broke the record, not only the dono record tonight, but the single donation record. What a great fella. That is my boy. Appreciate you. I mean, I should be dancing around like the Jabberwockies. Just got to be able to gain my bearings, though. My mental health is, so I have to be like, I gotta work up to it. So, but amazing. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you, man. You're 101, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, we love you, brother. True MVP. Tyler in the building. What a do, man! Unbelievable. That's just was not expecting that. I didn't even know how long I could even really go for. Honestly, I was just gonna start talking for a little bit and then just kind of see how I felt. I was like, maybe I'll make it 30 minutes. Like and normally I go for like 4 or 5 hours, but I was like, fuck, I don't even know like mentally like where I was like, do I just try to go for like 30 and see how it goes? And then, maybe get to an hour, and well, we're already at the 2 hour and 23 minute mark, which is amazing. I didn't even know we'd be able to get to this point, but I appreciate you guys. Anything that picture wise. I mean, I can give pictures to Shep for the next 3 years straight with donations like that. But if there's anything specific that you guys want to see, if it's like rock related, music related, food related, if you guys have anything, I'm just trying to boost the mental health. And sometimes I'm not in a good spot, but I know if I hang out with you guys can give some suggestions, and we'll see where it goes. Oh yeah. But we'll go for, we can go for 6 minutes. We can go for 36 minutes. I mean, I'm thinking 36 minutes might be good, and we can kind of evaluate there. And that'll put me at the 3-hour mark. And that's way longer than I thought I could actually even do, to be honest. So I'm kind of proud of that. And who knew that this was going to be the day where I didn't even know if I could stream mentally today, that we break the record. But I guess, you have blessings that happen all the time. And the people that were here will remember, we'll remember the stream. So incredible, man. Incredible. That's what makes you work hard and, know that you're doing the right thing. It's like, sometimes, we've did the grind, and, it's like 4 or 5 hours and we're at like $50 or less. And, it's not very good feeling, but you got to take the good and the bad. And, sometimes just maybe not the right crowd on the right day. And then you get days like this where you don't expect anything. And then you don't even know what, I don't even know what to say. So yeah, but let me know what you guys, give me your favorites of whatever you guys think is your favorite thing at the moment. And let me know what it is, and let's look at some of the stuff that we love. I mean, what that's the whole fucking point, right? I mean, you're not going to be able to get that type of interactiveness on any other channel. It's a very a unique concept. Sometimes you have little days of inspiration, and I've never wanted to do a channel like anybody else. I've always wanted to be unique. You know what I mean? I think, like, obviously with my green screen game, like my green screen skills, I feel that I can, compete with anybody there. I'm going to be able to do that. But then being able to incorporate the feeling, with the HD and the 4K, it's, I love it. It's probably my favorite thing, to be able to, show that interactive side of things. And the pictures definitely tell the story a lot better than just us talking about it and trying to envision the player in our heads. It's much better to be able to actually, like, let me see what we're talking about. Some of us are very visually oriented people, and I'm one of those. So yeah, NFL was not the same without him. You know what I mean? It was very hard to watch this year. Probably the hardest year in football for any Colts fan, I would probably say, because not only did you have a down year of Jonathan Taylor, you didn't even get your fucking best player to play pretty much the whole year. Like, how are you going to get excited about football when you can't even watch your favorite thing? That's not going to be easy. So I recognize that. But the blessing in disguise is you do shitty, right? You go backwards one step, but then you go 10 steps forward, especially if you get a franchise QB like CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. Then you can sleep easy at night. Even if you do have a shitty year or two, you got your quarterback, so you feel good. It's not like, oh God, Matt Ryan again, or oh God, another old veteran. We've already done this game over and over. I appreciate that. We appreciate you too. And like I said, I always like finding connections that might not be an ordinary connection. Because like I said, most people, if you knew me or you see me and you've seen the content that I've done in the past, I don't think anyone would have been like, oh my God, Orion loves NASCAR. I don't think I really scream like NASCAR, like super fan or anything, but it shows you, it doesn't matter what race or what age, like you never know the connection the person's going to have, with the drivers or with the cars or overall the events. The history, or if someone in their family, like, I used to really love turning up the surround sound, like insanely loud where the house would shake, and listen to the cars go around with the Bose surround sound. It was probably one of my favorite things to do besides like play video games hooked up to that too, which was awesome as well. Like imagine doing like Grand Theft Auto with Bose surround sound systems, like all around you bouncing off the walls. It was incredible. But let me know what you guys want to see. We can do another 32 minutes. I think that would be probably good for my mental health instead of just leaving in like 2 minutes. I'm not ready to go yet since we're kind of in a good flow. I mean, if we don't get anything dono wise the rest of the night, I mean, I don't think anyone is really going to mind. I mean, if we do get something more, great. But I'm not like thinking like, oh, we need to, hit this like, particular number or goal. I mean, gosh, I don't know. It's just, I'm still kind of in awe right now. I knew he was going to do something big, with the bonus and working hard. But I mean, it's one thing when you do like 5 stacks, when you do like 500, and when you get 500, 5 different times, it's just crazy to think that, that someone can love you and support you so much that they're willing to believe in you that much. And then to do above and beyond that, almost like 3 times that number. And then we go from, like 5 racks to 1,300. I mean, that's a pretty big jump. Yeah, I don't know what to say. It's super special, and definitely shows you who goes above and beyond. And we can't expect everyone, not anybody can just do something like that. Obviously you have to have a good paying job, and then, you have to work very, 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 very hard. And then it's up to you to decide if that's where, that's where you want to do that. And yeah, we're like the NWO. It's just the family. Crazy. All right, let me see what's on NFL Network here. Oh, we got Buccaneers and Cowboys. Well, guess what? I guess I'm watching this. And we already beat them once, and we beat them the year before. And we have a good record against the Cowboys, and Brady is undefeated. But I don't know if that's a fucked up thing for me to say, because, I mean, I don't think we really have a Super Bowl chance. Like, by some fucking miracle, could it be like the Bucs overachieve and get to the NFC Championship game by some freakish luck? Could that happen? The chances of that happening is like 1%, but yes, it could happen because Tom Brady's awesome in the fourth quarter. But just the way that everything is built up to this season, I highly doubt that we get that far. I mean, it doesn't seem like the same team from the last couple of years, because it's not the same team, but I've seen weirder shit happen. But it wouldn't really upset me losing to the Cowboys if they can get off their schneid and they can finally get a dub and get a little recognition. It just sucks. It would have to be against me, but I think Dallas is almost groomed. Like, they finally learn after me trying to call Jerry and talk to Mike McCarthy and say, hey, listen, did you know that Tony Pollard's better than Zeke? And you guys probably should have been force feeding him the ball years ago. And they finally listened. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like, we can always say, oh, same old Cowboys. Oh, they're going to choke, but this team, like, if they actually use Pollard efficiently, that gives them an edge they've never had before. Defense is good, but like, now it's not like Zeke fucking up. Like, if Zeke starts doing shitty, you don't care. You can go to Pollard and he's not going to necessarily get stopped easy compared to like a Zeke when he's struggling. So I don't know. I feel that, I mean, if they utilize Tony Pollard correctly, that this could be the year that maybe they win a game or two, possibly. But again, they could fuck up and, do what they normally do, because they got McCarthy and fucking Kellen Moore, and those guys are fucking horrible at coaching and play calling. So yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you for support and telling some stories. Story time is always good. Take care of yourself. You know what I mean? Can't be drinking the beers, and wear the mask, and then the hand sanitizer. And just remember, you and me, we're going to be watching, right? We got to make sure we stay healthy, right? Because we're going to be watching some Napa know-how. All right, we're going to be watching this very soon, okay? 2023 Napa scheme, but more Kyle Busch for you. So we'll be doing that very, very soon. So we love you and appreciate you. Let me see if I can find a Kyle Busch on the way out here. Let's look. Let's look for a Kyle Busch on the farewell tour as we get Mike to leave for the night. Let's try to find a nice Kyle to say goodbye. Where do I want to go? Oh, Kyle. Oh, I got one. Got to give you the classic Eminem because he's moving on to a new car, and let's just look at that for one last time. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. I love it too, because like I said, we always have people of so many different ages and races, you know, people that are as young as 10 to 12, but primarily it's mostly 18 and up, but 20, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, that we have people in those age groups that actually watch this channel, participate in this channel. Pretty cool thing, to be able to vibe with people all across the country and the globe, and be able to have a good vibe and a good connection. It's awesome. And I do owe a lot of my NASCAR enthusiasm to Mike and Riggs, to get me, back. And yeah, it's just been awesome to be able to get back in the flow of things. Oh, Tampa Bay and the Dallas Cowboys. Melissa Stark. All right, I'll let you guys control the rest of the stream, because I'm still kind of in awe of like what has transpired already. I don't even. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I'm just kind of lost for words. Don't know what to say. But I'll let you guys control it. Last 26 minutes, and then we'll see where we're at from there. But I think for me, that'll probably be a good stopping point. Then I can decide if I want to continue to do some reading. Watch the rest of this Cowboys Bucks, or maybe take Paisley on a late night little exercise session so I can kind of clear my head. And I'm definitely in a better place mentally than I was. I mean, I should be dancing around and doing every single dance move from the 70s to current, but I have to be able to get myself there slowly but surely. I just can't turn it on like an actor and just, all of a sudden, just, I mean, I want to be able to, but I think that's what really shows you when certain people are fake and, they can just turn it on and turn it off. But what an incredible sense of generosity. And yeah, still has me in shock. I'll be messaging him here in a moment. So, but let me know what you guys are looking at photo-wise, food, cars, video games, whatever you want. I'm going to throw up a DK Metcalf as we're just talking about him. And then I watch kickoff with Tampa Bay kicking off to Dallas. Oh, I got a really cool DK I've been saving for y'all. I've been saving it. You guys haven't seen this one. I've been saving it. Bing, bang, bing, bong. Tony Pollard. I like me some Tony Pollard. I've loved Tony Pollard. Much better than Zeke. But it's all political. Just because Zeke and Dak are best friends. I mean, you got to be able to do what's best for the team, young man. I get it. But if Tony Pollard is better, Tony Pollard is better. Well, better Mochetta. I mean, we know Saquon and some of these other guys and Zeke. They've tried to do it over the years, but sometimes some guys hit a wall. And Pollard's really good catching the football out of the backfield. Zeke can still get you 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns, and he can still get you, 2-3 in a game. I mean, we're not saying that, but I just think that if you had a choice between more carries, I would prefer to go to Pollard. You can go to the hot hand as well, but instead of just going Zeke no matter what. It's crazy too, because they would give like Tony Pollard like 10 carries. He would get like 90 yards, like a 9-yard per carry average, and they would stop feeding him the ball. Who the fuck does that? The motherfucker got like 9 yards a carry, 10 carries, 90 yards. Zeke's got like 20 carries, and he's got like 68. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. The guy's got way more yards, less carries. Like, maybe we should give that guy a few more opportunities. No. That's Dak's best friend. Let's not do that. Okay. I mean, I don't think you have to be a rocket scientist to see like, what guy runs the ball more efficiently when you're actually watching games. Like, it's not necessarily about who's more exciting, but who's more positive, who's getting more positive yards, who's dancing, you know what I mean? Or just doing like halfback dives, and who's actually helping the team get to the end zone. It's like, I think a lot of the carries for Zeke are like kind of garbage carries. And sometimes he'll take those garbage carries into the end zone, but no, you're Matt Payton. You don't need to look like DK. But I hope the Bucks they come to play. Like if we lose, I hope we bring everything we have and we lose it like a field goal at the end of the game. Like if that's how it happens, but I don't want to lose by like 10 points or more, 20 points. I don't want to get blown out. That would be it's already hard to watch the team play. I just don't want to see them just roll over, after this will be, Brady's final year. So yeah, don't be surprised if Brady goes to the Raiders or Dolphins or Niners. I doubt he'll go into the booth next year. He still wants to play. Yeah, I love Lockett. I've said this for years, before you had Cooper Kupp get the recognition. I always said I thought Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Tyler Lockett, DJ Moore. Those were my four most underrated. But then when Matthew Stafford came over, he turned Cooper Kupp into the next Steve Largent playing in 2022. It was crazy. We never saw a transformation go that explosive where you broke all the records, yards, touchdowns, receptions, the Triple Crown. Even Jerry Rice didn't do that. That statistically was one of the best seasons ever by a wide receiver ever, Cooper Kupp. But then he got Stafford. So now I feel it is Lockett. And I would put DJ Moore over Robert Woods. Robert Woods declined, but they don't really throw the football in Tennessee. But I think Lockett would definitely be one of the not only one of the top slots, but one of the most underrated. Guy doesn't drop a lot, goes through some mental health things, still plays with mental health issues. And he's, usually automatic. He's a guy from the 20 to the 20s, but he's a guy that you can throw to the red zone and he can deliver. It's undersized and he just brings everything he has. Definitely one of the best slots. I mean, you got Chris Godwin and a few others that are in the league. T. Higgins is another, but Lockett definitely. I think if I had a choice between T. Higgins and Lockett, I think I would go Lockett, believe it or not. I know Higgins is a bigger, physical receiver, but Lockett's got better hands and I think he runs the routes better. So it's sometimes you can have an undersized small guy that's not maybe as popular, but if I see results in and out, I'm going to take a guy that gets results, not the guy who's more popular. So, and I know I'm not the only one. I know some of you guys feel the same way. So, yeah. But do you know what I'm saying? As a football fan, I don't think a lot of people realize that if DJ Moore was on a better team with a better quarterback, he could end up being one of the top 10 receivers in the NFL if he had a Patrick Mahomes or a Josh Allen, or a Justin Herbert. If he was one of the top options for one of the top quarterbacks and he was getting a bunch of looks, I think DJ Moore could put up over 1,000 to 1,500 yards, and he could get you double digits in touchdowns because he's the type of guy that could get you 2 in a game, and there's not a lot of guys that can, but he's just on the fucking Panthers, and they never get respect. They never get any love. But if you ever watch DJ Moore and the Panthers are doing absolutely nothing, who's the one guy that does something? It's usually DJ Moore. So, I mean, I usually watch the film pretty closely, and I don't look at popularity. I look at, just straight up results. So, but a lot of people don't see that. They're blinded. They only see the popular names and stuff. But yeah, I know this is going to be crazy for some of y'all too. I like Lockett more than DK. I think Lockett to me is more reliable. DK is the better talent. DK could be ranked 10th or 11th with AJ Brown, and maybe Lockett's ranked 20th, to 28, somewhere in there, right, overall. But I just think that, DK needs to get a little bit more mature, and he's got a more physical stature. And obviously he can make the Sports Center plays. But I guess it just depends on the style of receiver that I like. And it doesn't always have to be the big physical guys. I mean, I do like, the AJ Brown, DK, Mike Evans, the bigger physical. I like that, but I kind of like the smaller guys. And I don't know, maybe it's just because I have always liked Lockett and I always thought he was slept on. No disrespect to DK, because I think he's awesome too. I would take him in Tampa in a heartbeat, but I just like the underdog story, I guess, about Lockett. He's small, he's tiny. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people give him any attention, but if you actually look at his numbers, regardless if it's fantasy or not, if the quarterback is healthy that's going to him, he can put up a lot of stats. He's very, very reliable. And I think he's a really good fan favorite. I think a lot of people really connect to Lockett. And he seems like a real dude. I don't know his whole story, but I know that he does struggle with mental health. And yeah, if you're going to go through the same shit that I'm going through and a lot of other people are going through, and you're able to play football at that fucking level, fucking salute to you, dude. Seriously. Now I got to put up a photo. I always look for like good individuals off the field. I look for stuff like that. I know for some people it doesn't fucking matter, but I mean, if I'm a fan and I'm going to buy your memorabilia, like if I'm going to go to the store and try to find a card shop and get your rookie card graded or investment piece, it better be someone that's a really good person off the field. I'm not going to just, buy it because they're the number one pick and they're putting up number one stats and they're like a thug. Like I'm not going to, or they're doing shit that's questionable, like, or if they're immature and stuff. Like I want to be able to buy stuff and collect people that I respect. So you can definitely be a great athlete and be questionable off the field, but I'm just not going to buy your stuff. I'm not buying your stuff. It just you're good on the field, but I don't agree with what you do off the field. So, but everyone's human. People fuck up. Football players like to party too. You know what I mean? And athletes and people get in trouble with the law. Fucking shit happens. People drink and drive. People drink. People do things. And they get in trouble. I mean, it's at the end of the day. When they're not playing football, their sport, they're party people like a lot of other people are. So, yeah, Doug Baldwin. That's a good one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think Sarah's seen it as well, but I'm very, I mean, I try not to be on, I don't really do Facebook and Instagram that much, but usually I'll be, NFL and like ESPN app, but usually on Twitter, you'll have like everyone's information on there. So depending on who you follow, something will fall in my timeline or hers. And usually if it's a story about anybody in the Northwest, I'll click on it. But yeah, there's been a few audio and video interviews with Lockett with people, I think from different networks and also maybe some local people in Seattle. And I think he's had a couple things where he's mentioned that he battles with it. And so anytime I hear about anyone that battles with stuff like that or is trying to help people that struggle with it, I think that's very cool and takes a lot of courage and stuff. But yeah, I imagine there's a lot of fucking athletes and a lot of people out there that aren't saying that they are, like we know Kevin Love obviously was one of those guys that exposed that he was really fucked up and struggling. And, even with LeBron and when that move from Minnesota was really tough. And yeah, I mean, you go from being the man, being the guy here in Oregon in high school at Lake Oswego, dropping 30 and 20 every game, and then UCLA and having success, and then going to Minnesota and putting up like 30 30s and 30 20s, and then being like the third or fourth best player with LeBron. I mean, that was probably it's like LeBron, Kyrie, and then him and a few other people. That's probably a kind of a slap in the face type thing. And he wasn't able to adjust. I know he's gone through a lot of mental health shit too, where he would just lock himself into his like apartment or a condo area or whatever. And he just was like, just mentally just not going through the right emotions, I feel sorry for him, but it was very cool for him to be able to say those things because I think a lot of us have gone through those things too. So. Yeah, most people copied, Baldwin's little skip like Devontae Adams, like the little skip at the line. So that way they don't know where you're going. Like, once you do that initial skip, you might go left, you might go right. But if they are looking down at your waist and your feet, you can tell by the pointiness of your foot where you're going to go. But if you're in the air and you're able to shift your body and move real quickly, like Devontae, that's where they got it from. They got it from Doug Baldwin. So Doug definitely is very underrated too.
Looking less and less likely that Lamar Jackson and his injured knee will be ready to play on Super Wildcard Weekend. NFL Network insiders Ian Rappaport and Mike Garafolo report Jackson
put up some Doug Baldwin.
Sunday in Cincinnati. Elsewhere, Tua Tagovailoa will not play Sunday when the Dolphins play the Bills for the third time. That familiarity should help the Bills, at least if you ask Deion Dawkins.
It's just the history. Like, if you go on a date with somebody 3 times, you should know that she or he, whoever you're with, likes like a lemon drop or Shirley Temple. But that's what you should know. So I kind of look at it for what it is. Like, I don't make it like all these giant things. Like, like we're going on our third date. Hopefully we can take them home.
This update presented by Verizon.
It's the
Yeah, but a lot of times people, they see the heroes, and we get too invested sometimes. I think in a negative, light, especially when you get the real immature people that actually like tweet at the person for like losing them in fantasy, or when they played bad. Like, do you think any professional athlete wants to hear some like little kid troll, or even an adult pretending to be a troll and just being extra rude with it? Like, I guess that's kind of the, part of the deal when you're an athlete and you're famous. If you have these social media handles, that you're going to have to, have someone either do it for you, or, depending on the response that you get back, you might go viral, and you might, someone's going to screenshot your shit. Cause you see Lamar, when people go attack him, I mean, he goes kind of like X-rated with his stuff. And I think they've told him like, bro, you can't go crazy with the responses, because they're going to screenshot that, and then it's going to be on every network and everything. So some football players it'll take them a little time to learn. So yeah, everyone is goated. That is crazy. I mean, I didn't even know if I was going to even be able to do the stream. I was like, well, we messaged, and I talked to a couple people, and then I was like, it can't hurt, and I'll just label it this, and we'll see what happens. And yeah, what a day. I mean, this will be a day I never forget. But again, it's always good. I mean, I think we should have streams like this. I mean, obviously I don't want to feel this way, or how I felt yesterday, but I guess it's just the authenticness, and I mean, it's just like, you can't force something, or like pretend that you're feeling bad when you don't. I mean, I guess people do that, to be like kind of to scheme stuff or whatever, but oh man, but I definitely feel a little bit better than what I did. That's facts. I mean, how can you not feel better after breaking dono records, 2 of them? Being able to talk a little bit, kind of understand why I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling. Sometimes the worst ones are when you feel like not good and you have no reason to. Like, why do I feel this way? Is it because Georgia just beat the shit out of TCU and I'm this fucking upset, and I'm fucking like mentally having a breakdown because that fucking game sucks so bad and I had to watch the whole thing? Like, is that, and that's where you start. First time I'm like, God, football's been really shitty for me, but it's like, is it really letting it get to affect me that way? And then of course that's not going to be the full answer, but the amount of shitty football that I've watched this year has definitely taken a toll on me, just because, like I said, I can't change a channel. I can't stop recording. I have to keep going through it. So when everyone else changes a channel and their mental health is great, then I'm watching fucking, 30-0, 40-0, 50-0, 60-3. I mean, that's not good for my mental health. Yeah. And then also too, I mean, I do read all the time, and I'm always following up on news, and I like to break away from sports, but sometimes it's tough because it's a big part of like my life, Sarah's life, and a lot of us, but sometimes I have to put the phone and just let it charge. And I just have to like be able to go outside, be able to breathe the air, take Paisley on a walk. I need to be, I need to do human things. I need, we're always on our phones and our computers, and I'm so blessed that I'm able to tell my story on here and be able to meet people and connect with people. Every once in a while, we have to Hollywood Hogan someone, and I have to give them the boot. But most of the time, if you respect me and respect the room, this won't happen. But if you test the people in the room or test me and it comes off in a bad way, well, it might be a friendship probation thing, or, it might be, I don't know, we might see you, we might not type of thing. You know what I mean? But for a lot of us, it's I feel it's good therapy, and I just need to be able to do those things and be able to get away. But also too, even though I like to be able to watch those shows and sleep and do all that, sometimes if you do too much of that, then you feel even worse. Because I feel I was getting to that point where I was watching goddamn every Simpsons episode, every King of the Hill, all my shows. I finished True Blood finally. I rewatched True Blood from beginning to end. And 7 seasons, and I watched it a long time ago when it came out. It took me probably like 4 months to finish it because I would binge it and watch it when I can. And I finished the last 3 episodes today. 7 seasons, 10 episodes, and so many episodes per season. But that kind of felt good, you know what I mean? But sometimes when you watch too much TV or sleep too much, or you're just playing video games, or you're just kind of in this funk of just like going through the same apps on your phone, and you're watching the same shows, and you're just eating your fucking your sadness away, or you're trying to, but then eventually it tastes good, and then you probably feel worse from the money you spent on Grubhub, or how you feel because you're fucking stuffed now. It's like I always try to find things to make me feel better rather than turn to like an alcohol or whatever, or do something. It's like, okay, I'm feeling like shit, but it's like, okay, if I go get a bottle or go drink, is that going to make things better? And luckily I've never really been a big drink, alcohol person. So it doesn't really affect me like it does with like probably 90% of my friends or more, where they're like, some of them are drinking like every day. It kind of scares me a little bit, but field goals up and it's good. Dallas 3, Tampa Bay 3. But I guess if that's something that you have been doing, then it's just as natural as someone smoking a cigarette or smoking, a joint or whatever, or eating gummies. So yeah. And like I said, but I'm really happy, and not necessarily because we broke all these records. Of course, that was great. But I think for my mentals, it was a good thing to be able to come on here, and then, you guys can talk a little bit, tell some stories. I can tell some stories, and just kind of reflect on certain things and go from there. So yeah, I remember that story. Yeah. And I feel like once, I get bigger, I'll be known more as like a mental health advocate. Like it is very important to me. And I feel like with my platform, I feel like anyone that's got like 20 or more, I feel that a lot of them, they just stick to kind of like what they know. And a lot of times they don't really show like the human side. They just show the streamer side, the personality on YouTube or Twitch side. But like, what about the real you? I feel that you don't get that from a lot of people. They give you the you that they want to perceive to you to see what they're about. But is it like truly the genuine, like them off screen? Is it really, really genuinely them? And some people are, but we already know some people are not. Yeah. I feel it helps, and at some point we might get to a point where we end up doing just like, like a mental health type of thing where, regardless if people donate or not, but then they have a question, boom. And then if a donation comes through, cool. If not, whatever. But, and then just trying to be able to go through the questions and go through, because like I said, you can have a PhD, you could be a psychologist, you could be a therapist, you could be a big brother, big sister, you could be, a social worker. But I think it's just, you can have certain levels of degrees and other techniques. But I think the bottom line is you either understand people and you know what it's like to be in other people's shoes and you have that empathy and sympathy. The extra is that piece of paper, but I feel it's like you either got it or you don't. And I feel like I was kind of blessed with that ability to recognize people and, how everyone is a little bit different and that connection. That's something that naturally I've been just blessed with, I feel. And I try to maximize that when I can, especially if people open up and tell me stuff. So that's why it makes it a little easier for me to, tell you guys my story. Cause I'm, that's just who I am. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. So. All right. We got like 4 minutes to go. Is there anything last minute that anyone wants to see before we go? I'm going to just try to delete some of these photos here. And I feel that's a good time. I mean, if I don't know if anyone wanted to go past the 3 hour mark. I imagine some of you guys would probably go for another hour. But I know that my girlfriend's daughter has school. She had today off because of like a teacher work day, but they have to go back. So usually I try to end it, before 10:30, just during the week. But like I said, I think we're at a good point. I think it's a good point to stop the stream here in just a couple minutes. Cause again, I was only going to maybe do 30 minutes to an hour. I didn't even know if I could make it that long, to be honest, but we had a good turnout. And then obviously when you get blessed with some record breaking donation stuff that happens, what do we, we'll do some breakfast food photos. We might go over the 3 hour mark. I can go for like another 5 or 10 minutes. What number are we at right now? So I can update it to the ticker. I don't care if we get anything after this. We're at 15 what? I can scroll up and look. So that way I can just have it in there and then I can adjust it later and know where we're at. But I'll get some breakfast food prepped here. We'll do a few photos of those. Yeah, the stuff, it's funny too, because we talked about it too, about like ordering. as if we didn't make it. But the thing is when they're hot and fluffy and you order it from like a restaurant, it's always cold and it's like soggy, even if it's not like the butter's on it or the syrup. You can never order pancakes and get them delivered to your house by anywhere and have them taste like they would if you sat down at the table and got them. Because the difference between a good pancake and a cold pancake could be a difference of just a couple minutes. And once a couple minutes, it's just not the same. And there's no place that I think we have here in Oregon that's like that. So 1507. Wow. Okay, let me adjust it here. $1,507. Single dono record 1,300. Wow. Wowee. Well, this will be a day that we will never forget. And then it makes me happy too, because a lot of people would be like, oh my God, you got this huge dono day. But the first thing I'm thinking of is just buying stuff back for Shep. That's the first thing I think of, buying a jacket or jersey, Patrick Mahomes called jersey for Cyberpunk. So I wasn't able to really make that happen just yet, but now obviously that's going to be possible. So that makes my heart happy. And, just knowing that, as long as I keep positive and, we knowing that these amazing games are going to be coming here this weekend, you know what I mean? I think also too, sometimes I get down when there's not something going on. Like if it's a slow day in between, like a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and we don't have a football game or something, when it's like football season, I find myself getting a little bit more sad on those days where there's no games. I'm not sure if you guys are like that too, but if there's no baseball or NASCAR to satisfy like that need that I need, for like that sports or that cool event for that day, sometimes it does get me a little down and a little in the dumps a little bit, and then if I have wrestling, then I'm like, oh, at least I can fall back on that, like, Dynamite or like Raw or something. But, I feel on some of those other days, I'm like, man, this sucks. Like, I don't want to have to wait like 4 or 5 days for football during football season. Like, this blows. Like, I need that Thursday night to, be that like halfway point before Sunday or Saturday. And there's no more college football now too. So these are the things that I go through in my brain. So I know I'm not the only one.
He had a year that you just don't forget. We did a couple of games. I'm like, oh my gosh, I felt like I was bouncing his name every single time. Watch it every time. You're on target, getting the clock straightened out after the incompletion. There is the former Chicago Bear Hicks. If Hicks and Julio Jones play this year, right? Those would be two big ones. Right anger kicks Jalen Norton. To return at 10. And Tampa will take over at the 31. Brady comes on the field for drive number 2. There he was coming on the field for the first time. That vintage Tom Brady reaction. Locked back in for season 23. Here's my treat. Now that my chores are complete.
You didn't do the laundry?
Funky, warm, and savory. No one gets chores done like me. Treat yourself to a $5 hot pie from KFC. This electric feels different. Because it's powered by the most potent source of energy there is.
Yeah, and like I said, I think with all the stuff that we see that's staged on like TV, it's very rare, I think, nowadays where you can actually like feel like you're watching something that's authentic and genuine. It just seems like there's so much filler stuff and stuff that they try to make you think that is real, and then you find out it's not. I don't know. It's just nice to be able to have some just real, honest, genuine, open conversation with no like no like underlining thing attached to it. Just like, this is what's going on in my life, and kind of sucks, but I know things will get better. And if anyone else is going through some shitty times like that, knowing that it will get better for you too.
Take Imavestis with the sulfonylurea, where it increases blood pressure. Side effects like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea may lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems. Need to get your A1C down? You may pay as little as $10 per prescription.
Maybe it's back for the West
Yeah.
Coast. Here are those pictures that you asked for your school project. First day of school, choose the butt.
It's nice to be able to, and obviously I could care. I don't have a thing where it's like, oh, I have to care about what everyone else thinks or this or that. It's, I think I stopped caring about what people think about me a long time ago. I think if you care about whatever other people think, I mean, it's a tough way to live, always kind of looking over your shoulder and having to watch what you think you have to say or not say. Look at that one. Jeez.
You know what? We should make an emergency communication. That way we're ready this year. At my dorm, we have emergency kits for earthquakes and wildfires, but I'm sure there's something more local I can send you with them.
Oh, baby. Yeah, he still has to pass the physical again, which I don't know if he can do. I'm not sure if they finalized it, but then just kind of crazy. He's like bouncing around from like 2-3 different teams, but look at that. That's what I'm talking about. If you're going to get the Nashville hot chicken, it has to look like that. Like we're going to go to Sisters and Brothers. I'm not sure. Have you been there before, Reflect? Obviously, it's, they got a few locations there, I think, like in the Seattle era, but it's one of the best like Nashville hot chicken spots in the Pacific Northwest. And I would drive 3 hours just to eat there. And the Nashville hot chicken, and then they have the homemade mac and cheese with the bacon, and then like you can do the chicken sandwich, chicken pieces, or chicken and waffle. And man, like when I went there with my buddy, when we did the Mariners, we did Broncos and Seattle back when Von Miller was still there. And then it was like a preseason game. And then we went to a Mariner regular season game, the game after, and we had tickets within the first like 5 rows in both events. And then we had a real expensive room. But when we got to eat here, it might've been the best meal I had in my entire life when we went there a few years ago. It was just like the most delicious thing ever. And they have different levels of the hotness, and I could only do like the naked one, because if you do the up higher levels, like I was sweating already in a good way, from just eating the one that I was eating. I couldn't even imagine eating the one that was 2 or 3 levels above. But it's like when you're sweating while you're eating, it's kind of uncomfortable, because it's like, you just want to be able to enjoy the food, but it does make you feel alive. And it's a different savory, sweet, and the chicken has layers when you go into the crunch, and then the inside, the juicy, and then the crunch again. It's like when you get chicken that's made like high end, you definitely can taste it. And once I had that, it was hard to eat Safeway or KFC or Popeyes. Even anything that you would get here was like a 3 compared to a 10 that I was like, wanting to eat. But yeah. Oh, did he pass the physical apparently? Okay, I know that they were waiting on some results. So, yeah, well, regardless of what the Mets do, the Braves are still good enough to win the division. They could keep stacking their roster, but that doesn't mean the chemistry or the injury bug won't hit them. So, they're going to be better than what people think. So, yeah, he was bouncing around everywhere. Yeah, but he was already with them, and then obviously you could tell that it was just more of like a rental thing. Byron Buxton is pretty cool. Like he's a good player, but I guess some people want to play in a little bit bigger of a market or with more of a chance to make a deep run. I have some ties to, like I told you before, with the Portland Beavers, with me getting a couple of those baseballs and the cards and the mini bat. And that team in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s was the Minnesota Twins. And that's the little connection that I have with the Portland Beavers and them, and Terry Jorgensen and Bernardo Brito and a lot of these guys that some people remember those names and some people don't. But yeah, it was cool. It was cool to see some of those guys get called up. A lot of them, Chip Hale, and I got to see these guys. And sometimes I would get front row seats. I would sneak down there, or me and my dad would sit. And I was lucky enough to get a couple baseballs when I was 10, and I even got batting gloves when I snuck down to the front row. And this rich Caucasian couple. It was like security was like, "Is this your kid?" And I looked nothing like them. They had like blonde hair, blue eyes, and you're just like this little Asian kid. I looked more Asian when I was little. And I'm like, "Yeah, that's our kid." And like I'm fucking adopted or something. And then I screamed down there at the Beaver players after they hit a home run, and one of the players took the gloves off and swooped them up to me, and then I, eventually went back to my seat, sat there with that family or whatever for maybe like an inning, and then I went back and sat with my dad for the rest of the game. Pretty awesome. I always have been lucky, going to games, and there's not very many people that have Beaver gloves. People have gotten Beaver home run balls, Beaver foul balls and autographs and stuff, but to my knowledge, there hasn't been too many gloves that have been, on the, secondary market, let alone if someone offered me, money for the gloves, I wouldn't sell them. There's no way in hell. I mean, I want to keep that history alive. Even if the baseballs are worth less than 100 each, and even if the gloves are worth, 100 each or 50 each or less, still, I mean, someone could offer me $350 for the gloves and I still wouldn't sell them. I mean, they're still in the same Ziploc plastic bag from 1992. Like the same Ziploc bag. I still have the same fucking bag, and I want to keep that stuff because that was like the beginning signs of when I knew when I would go to Mariner games that I was going to get the baseballs. And then I've been to like 7 games and I've already gotten 3 baseballs. So in my short 40-year life, I already have five game used baseballs from the Beavers and the Mariners. So I would say it's that's more than most people in a lifetime for sure. So, and I'm not done. So. Shit. No, I have not. Is that is it a TV show, a documentary? What is that specifically? I mean, I usually watch a lot of stuff of Oregon and Washington specifically, some California, but if it's Pacific Northwest, it usually grabs my attention because I live here. So. I got to try to find some old school Portland Beavers here right before I go. Oh my gosh. Bernardo Brito. Oh my God. Some of these guys, I mean, this brings me back, dude. And I remember the guys. Here, I'll show you. This is my guy right here. This was like the home run guy. And this is, I'm 40. This is back when I'm like 10. So this is like, holy shit, dude. Like, and they had cards that you could get back in the day, but damn, dude, my boy, Bernardo Brito. Fucking A, dude. Triple A. I mean, it was fun out here in Oregon because we didn't have Mariners, so this was the closest thing if you were a baseball fan. Wow, so cool. So cool. Bernardo Brito, my God. That is so awesome. And I'll show you the cards that I had. I actually own these with my dad. Check this out. This is from 1990. And I was 8 years old. And it was like part of like going to the game. Take a look at this reflect. These are some of the best Portland Beaver cards ever created, just based off the colors and just, the brightness of the cards. Of course, it could have been something that was more red and black, for the colors instead of like Oregon Duck colors. But gosh, I mean, I'm second grade. I remember all of that. Oh man, memories, dude. Memories. And that's why I don't want to get rid of, from the Portland Beavers existed from 1903 to 2010, but they also changed it like the Portland Rockies, and they switched from the Twins to like, Padres and like a few other teams. They bounced around, but it never was the same. The Minnesota Twins, that was the real deal. That was like the one that mattered. And then afterwards, it just like the system wasn't as good, going to the other teams. But yeah, I mean, that stuff means quite a bit. Hey, Holly, how are you? I was going to kind of leave at the 3-hour mark. But I can stick around here for a little bit. So that way Sarah can say hello. And if you got anything that you want to see, we broke the Dono record today. We broke the Dono record overall and the single Dono record. So the new Dono record is 1,300 for a single donation. Unbelievable. And we're over 1,500 right now. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to stream longer than 30 minutes because I haven't been really feeling good mentally in the last 2 days. And I told Sarah, fuck it. Like, I'll go on for like 30 minutes and see how my brain feels and, go from there and maybe try to talk it out and see how I feel. And, and then one thing led to another, and just kind of talking about why I feel the way that I feel, or why I think I feel. But even when I listened to music and went for a walk with Paisley yesterday, I felt like crap. Like, sometimes I try to eat my emotions away, and I'll order food out, and, that way I don't drink or hang out with wrong people to go down the slippery slope of partying and getting into that. It's like, I know that's not going to be a good thing for me. So instead of avoiding, that's usually my go-to. How do I avoid myself of doing something I know I shouldn't do, or go hang out with people I shouldn't do? I order food, and sometimes I'll just eat. And then I don't know, sometimes initially it makes me feel better, but then other times it's only temporary. And I don't know. I mean, just certain things have been, I realized I had a couple people, like my ex-girlfriend's parents both died within the last couple of years. And I just found that information out recently. The mom died 2 years ago. And then her dad, it was someone that I was actually pretty close to. And I actually met up with him, with me and Marcos, at a bar near Marcos's house and their house. And then I found out that he ended up dying like a year ago. And I saw him like a month or two before I think he passed. So, and prior to that point, I didn't see him for 4 or 5 years. So at least I got a little bit of a goodbye and a little bit of like maybe closure. But sometimes I just have these days where my mental health is just crap. It's just like, I try to do like the TV shows, the cartoons. I try to exercise. I try to spend time with Paisley. I try to, do everything that I normally do to feel better or to put myself in a position to win. But sometimes it just wasn't enough. And I was just like, fuck, I don't feel good. Like I'm not feeling like, I don't like feeling this way, and that maybe had a little bit to do with it. And just, the shitty football, and just, I don't know, sometimes you just feel like you're being pulled in so many directions, whether it's home stuff and, doing this and, getting kind of burnt out and just mentally drained. And, because anyone that says being like a full-time streamer is easy is lying. I mean, it is not, because I mean, it's almost like working out. It's like the idea of having to prep and do all these things, you know what I mean? And not knowing, how many people are going to show up, if it's going to be a good day or a bad day, or if we hit a good number or don't hit a good, like, you never know. It's like every day is a different day. That's what makes it exciting, but there's not, I mean, necessarily, I think, stability for everyone. I mean, once you hit a certain fan base, then you kind of have like a certain kind of, feel of how the day might go and whatnot. But, I wasn't even expecting to get anything today, to be honestly. I was just like, I don't even know if I can do this. I'm going to go for maybe 30 minutes to an hour. If we get a dono in that time period, awesome. If I don't get anything, I'm not going to cry about it. I'll still be okay. I just wanted to, just let people know where I'm at mentally. And I know some people are afraid to do that, but I feel like that's just the only way I know how to be. And I know, and I think I would say probably about 80% of the fans that watch have either depression or anxiety, or have had it, or have it now, or they're in the process of trying to get better. So I think a lot of the times, if I make a video stating stuff like this, I know it's a lot of times it'd be very difficult for people to admit, they need help or they're not in a good spot. But I know that if I stay away, the longer I stay away, the worse I get. So I know eventually that, even though it's a difficult time, that things will get better over time. Especially when not everyone is in and like I said, this is around the same time with the seasonal depression, I feel too, because I looked at the weather report. We have like 14 days in a row of rain. And I mean, usually springtime, summertime, fall time, I'm okay. But I think it is around this time, around like December, January, February, I always have an episode where I'm just like, it's raining way too much. It's too gloomy. And like mentally, I'm putting myself in a spot where I don't even know why I'm feeling this way. Like, why do I feel like this? I have no idea. Where did these dark feelings come from? Is it something that I read? Is it something that I watched? Is it something that, that was around me? Like, what, sometimes you don't have an explanation about it. But Odin's son, who has a tough time with mental health too, he reached out. And so I thought that was kind of odd, because usually when we both reach out and we haven't talked to each other for a few days or like a week, and then, it's like maybe we're synced here, like things are not okay here, and we realize it. And then Shep, maybe, anytime if you notice that I don't stream for a day or two, usually that means that I'm mentally in a fucked up place. Like I'm not, because I can't fake a stream. As much as I would love to fake a stream, I just can't do it. Like, even if I'm desperate and I need rent money, or I just can't put on a fake smile and pretend everything's okay just to try to make like $50 or $100. And then, I would just rather, I can't do it. It's like, even if there was an opportunity to make like 500 or $1,000, a lot of times it's like, the money doesn't matter. I need my mental health to be okay. And no amount of money is going to make it better if I don't feel like I can do it, so I try to, make sure that I feel good enough, to be able to do it. But, yeah, but like I said, I'm always going to make time for the people. And, now I can get something special for Shep. I can get Cyberpunk, the Mahomes college jersey now. So that, and I don't know, most people, when they get big donos, they probably think about themselves. But first thing I was thinking about is just like, okay, who do I get back now? So, Portland Mavericks. I do have Portland Rockies of baseball, like a promotional one, but it's not like one from that was the game. Yeah, and every time I get a baseball, I get injured or someone injures me. 4 out of the 5 baseballs that I have, 2 Portland Beavers, 3 Mariner balls, I either have gotten assaulted or someone assaulted me, or I twisted my ankle. Both the Portland Beaver baseballs, I twisted my ankle, both of them, to get them, and I had to scrap with like 10 or 12 kids each time, but I ended up getting autographs. And before Maurice Lucas died, they had a Maurice Lucas celebrity softball game. So they had like Ed Whalen, Channel 6, Rocco Rock from Fox 49 back in the day doing the cartoon thing. And they had a bunch of old players, Steve Sachs from the Yankees, and a bunch of these old guys. And so I got autographs on that one ball that I twisted my ankle, where they had the celebrity softball game and the Beaver game after, which was very cool. I still have the newspaper clipping from the actual Oregonian, believe it or not. And then later on in the season, I ended up sitting off first base, and then they had the flags, and it was like the cutoff point where they didn't sell any more seats. And one of the baseballs got ripped over there, and I ran so fast, like half mile, with all these other kids, and lifted up the flag, and it had it was like roped off, and then you had to go and try to find the baseball. And I twisted my ankle, and I ended up getting that baseball too. But you got to earn it. It's not going to just come to you most of the time. But the Mariner ones actually have, like, all 3 of them. It's like the sports gods were like, okay, where's Orion at? Okay, he said he's going to get a Julio ball. All right, we're going to hit it right off the guardrail, right in front of him. So all he's got to do is just chase it, and he'll get it. And then the Aaron Judge one, it was like, it was like right there, within like a seat in front of me, like right there. So I already knew that. I mean, if people are putting their hands to get the baseball and it goes up in the air, 99% chance I get that ball. I'm not going to push anyone out of the way, but like, I'm going to be focused and I'm going to be ready for it. And like I said, I've been pretty blessed with that. 2022 has been pretty crazy for me, and I hope 2023 is going great. So yeah, good seeing you though. Even if it's only just for a few minutes, I hope things get better. Also, I've realized if I don't do coffee or like energy drink or something early, it messes up my day. Because then if I don't go through it all day, and then at the time where I'm trying to record or do something, I have no energy. I can go take a shower, I can shave, but that, it's like that boost of energy of that caffeine when you don't have any. Sometimes that wears on me, I think, because I'm used to having some. I try not to drink too much, but it is what it is. Oh, nice. First team All-Pro. Well, technically, he's been the best punter this year, and he's never been recognized as the best punter in the NFL ever, right, Holly? I think you would know that. I know he's been recognized as like one of the top 5, top 3, top 7, but I think this is the first year, and especially if the Chiefs make the Super Bowl, the more, he's not going to have too much work to do, because hopefully they don't punt that much, but if they do, he can rip off a 50, 60, 70-yarder and then do his little... he can do his little Conor McGregor, Pat McAfee strut, and we're always thinking about you when he does well. So, ooh, really? My goodness, I might have to look into that. Cool, man. Oh yeah. I mean, it was, yeah. I mean, like I said, they always have like the pickles now, like single A, but triple A is the closest thing to like the big leagues. And some of those guys, if they play well, they'll get called up. Guys will be popular from the Twins and get called down. So it's not like I ever saw Kirby Puckett Frank Viola or, those, any of those ones or anything. But, every once in a while you'll get guys, I think like Chip Hale was one of the guys that got called up a little bit, but most of the guys didn't last very long because they were AAA, and there's a big drop off usually from the big leagues to AAA. And then AAA is a hell of a lot better than AA. And then AA is a hell of a lot better than single A. It's like if you're a single A or AA player and you think you're going to go AAA or big leagues, you better be like a phenom. Otherwise, you're just going to probably stay in that level. It's very hard to move up, even if you are like the best at your school or whatever. But it was always fun. Like that was my excitement too, to be able to try to get a baseball, and they had really cool giveaways, and the seating was very cool. And it was just like right in the heart of Portland. Like there was like buses that would go by, and then they just had this like stadium kind of in the middle of the city where there was like buildings everywhere. Like it wasn't just like separated off in the middle of nowhere where it was just like a big field and then they had the stadium. Like it literally was in like the middle of Portland, like kind of near like Portland State and some of the like the university campuses. It was like busy streets, people walking around, people riding bikes, and I don't know, it was just like right in the middle of everything. It was awesome. Yeah, I probably will have to watch that. Yeah, he's number one, I think, too. Yeah, the walk was the best. Absolutely. And it's cool because, like I said, if we didn't have you a part of the channel to be able to raise awareness for like punters and kickers, I don't think a lot of us would have like taken it to heart to go even the extra mile. Like maybe I enjoyed those positions, but now it's like I'm, thinking of you and thinking of like, okay, I know she's looking at, people in college, and, we're always looking at the Florida and then appreciating the, cause like I said, if you don't have a good punter or kicker, the chances of you being able to win are going to be slim. You got to have good players in those positions. I mean, sometimes you can get away with not having the greatest punter, but in key situations, if you're a playoff team, having a guy that's in the top 10 can definitely help and push a team back to go 90 yards rather than a team going 60. And then, if you have a good defense, then maybe you can make a play. And that's sometimes the difference in winning championships or not, is having a couple really good kicks or a couple really good punts. So that's facts. But we'll probably just go 5 more minutes from now. We're just looking at a little bit of food and just talking a little nostalgia. And just mental health has been kind of crap for me the last couple days, but I feel today is much better. I mean, if I can't get excited breaking dono records, I can't get excited really for, anything, I guess. But even that being said, I mean, if I was in a normal headspace, I would be dancing and doing every dance move from the 70s to current, sprinkler all the way to the gritty. But I just, just mentally, I feel so happy inside, but still not really feeling 100%. But I think if maybe I go take a Paisley for a walk, maybe I'll feel a little bit better. Or I'll figure out what I'm going to do. So, but you guys are the fam, like the NWO, new world order for life, brother. Oh yeah. So I'm glad that, we were able to talk a little bit, and I try to, break down myself and analyze myself on why. But obviously when you live out here in the Pacific Northwest, the weather does affect people with the seasonal. You just got to be able to find ways to get out of it. Or maybe it's just something like, with the full moons, and there's just like certain days. Because the weird thing is, have you noticed when certain people are irritated or in a bad day, sometimes it's the same people in a group that live in different places across the country will all have like a day that's bad around the same time. Or maybe you'll have like a friend that you live with, or not a friend that you live with, but a friend that lives near you. And then you don't talk to him that much. And then all of a sudden you hear from them. And then you both are having kind of a crap day. Like, I don't know what it is. Like sometimes there's something in the air, and maybe not in the water, but it's like, I feel that sometimes people are connected. I don't know if it's spiritually or whatever, but sometimes people feel other people's like, feeling like vibe. And sometimes like, I'm having a shit day. Maybe I should check up on this person. Maybe this person's having a shit day too. And then obviously if you talk about it, you can try to work it out and whatnot. But Rainier games, McGuire, oh man. Yeah. Like I said, going up into Washington is always fun. Like I said, I'm going to go see the Cardinals, for my birthday, my friend's birthday, Justin. So he got a huge raise, and I think he made the company $250,000 in profits, for the Batteries Plus for like the 10 locations. He's like one of the most genuine dudes. You see him with me, Duffel Bag Boys, just me and him. He's got glasses. He looks like a typical 80s, 90s baby. You know what I mean? Like he likes the same shit that I like with the Goonies and all the Back to the Future and football and baseball and basketball. So we're going to probably get a really nice room. And it's going to be exciting. But I've never seen the Cardinals before. That's Sarah's team. So I'm super excited. I'm definitely going to try to get a Goldschmidt or an Arenado ball or another Julio ball. And then depending if I get a ball, I'm probably going to give it to him because he's been to like 100 games for the Dodgers and the Mariners, and he's never gotten a ball, but he doesn't really have the honey badger. Like he won't go after it like I will. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to knock anybody over, but I mean, if it's within, a couple rows of me and I don't have to step over anyone or touch anyone, I'm going to probably go after the ball and I'll see if I can get it. I mean, it's you either want the ball or you don't, and sometimes it comes right to you too, or close to you. $28 holla. Speaking of the mental health, exercise. Bad for mental health, better to do. Johnny. Oh, there we go. Well, like I said, you can always, I seen that you post some like food stuff and the good morning stuff. And sometimes it's just, getting yourself the idea of doing something that you don't want to do. It's like, sometimes that initial fear of like, oh, I got to stream or I got to work out. But then once you actually put the shoes on and you step outside or I hit start stream, then that fear is over. And then you're good. But it's just that build up of like, oh, fuck, I have to exercise. And then you just think of all the things. Okay, I got to get dressed. I got to put on the pants. I got to go dress this, put this jacket on, put these shoes on. Then the weather sucks. And then, you have to convince yourself to go. And like I said, even though I wasn't feeling good yesterday, I still pushed and then walked with Paisley. It didn't help, but I know it did help a little, but not as much as I thought it was going to help. And like, it was just going to snap and just make things better for me. And apparently that wasn't it, but thank you so much for your support. And now I have to update the record books here. $28 holla. I even misplaced my Cactus Jack Bang Bang. So that's what kind of day it's been. I don't know if I deleted it or I grouped it in another file or whatever. So for today, it was NWO instead of the Cactus Jack. But I appreciate you very, very much. $28 holla. Thank you. Yeah. And like I said, a lot of us are going through. Now I got to update that. Let's update that. 15. This is crazy. Like 1527 with like 8 to 10 people. And I think last time when we hit the 1320, it was 15 people. So yeah, who says that you can't make a significant impact with a small amount of people in a room? So you guys are awesome. I appreciate you very, very much. Anything that you want to see real quickly, since I don't want to just leave after you showing the love like that. If you have a couple things like cats or dogs or anything, let me get you a few photos. And even if we have to go 5 or 10 minutes more, I will. I want to make sure that we show that proper gratitude and appreciation. And if you have anything that you want to see, let me know. And we'll go for a couple more minutes, and then we'll end the stream, But let me know what you're thinking. And I got you.
Thousands of families affected by disasters urgently need support. You can help the
All right, first I'll just freestyle it. So first, let me get rid of some of these food ones.
Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small.
Yeah, you just want to make sure you make a proper time for people that are important. It's like a lot of times people just end the stream. They end the stream regardless of who comes in or not. But I always will take in consideration, who comes in at what time. And if I haven't talked to them in a little while, or if I feel that it would be good for all of us to be able to talk with the person, of course, I'll go a little bit longer. So no worries. Yeah, let's do that. No worries. It's my pleasure to do it, regardless if you came in and didn't even donate. Just you coming in the room uplifted everyone's vibe. So, and I know that it's been challenging, not only for me, and been challenging for you. And hopefully we can get back on track. So, no worries. It's my pleasure to do it. It's like I said, I sometimes I feel like I was kind of made for this. I was kind of born to kind of listen and try to help. I know it sounds kind of cheesy and corny, but some people have like a guardian angel or something of that nature. But I just always feel that I've been put here to like try to maximize people's overall mental health and help people. And I think I've been kind of blessed to be here. You know, of course, I can want to make my dreams come true, and I want to help other people's dreams come true. And some people, it's about fame and about money, but I think it's just making people believe in themselves and helping people believe in themselves, and just being here and being a human and real, and not just a personality on YouTube. I think that's a big thing. So let's do a little Johnny Townsend, a little Johnny. Yeah, holding yourself accountable is the hardest thing to do in life. Like I said, if you have other people working with you, that definitely will help. But it's very hard to be able to keep yourself disciplined. It's not easy at all. People act like it's easy, but it's not. I mean, it's very difficult.
Smith gets checked out. So that was third down. Got a field goal attempt coming up. Third one for Ryan Succop.
Especially if it's something that, it's like you already know is already kind of pulling teeth to do. Like working out, it's like, even if I'm used to it and I know it's good for me and it's good for Paisley, you can't act like, knowing that you're walking for 1 hour. I mean, that will turn people off already right there. They're like, hell, I got to walk, but once you realize if you have your own thoughts to yourself and, you can, kind of just be at one with yourself. And usually when I go on these late night walks, there's no one out there besides me and Paisley, unless someone's like following me or creeping or something, but it just feels good to be out there, just, just us two, and just kind of, it's not like an abandoned area or whatever and stuff, but walking through a neighborhood past a school and, just getting the steps in and getting the music in. And yes, I know. I know it's been, yeah. And like I said, anything that I can do to be able to support that, you deserve it. And like I said, there's certain people out there that will be more of a personality. But I feel like, I'm more than that. It's like when they say, oh, it's, football players are football players, but there's also a human aspect, to them. And there's a human aspect I feel with me. And, I'm always going to be able to do as much as I can if I know I can make a difference. Ooh, look at this one. Woo, I like. Wow, that one's up there with some of the Tommy ones. That one is like nice. Good ball placement. Look at the helmet. Like, wow. I didn't think I was going to see anything like this. Damn, Johnny got some good ones. Like, I thought Tommy had all the good ones and like maybe Evan McPherson, but okay, Johnny got some pretty, like whoever's taking photos of Johnny here. There we go. They maybe the Townsend family. Okay. My goodness. Like this, huh? Love action shots. Oh. Man, he's got some really good ones. I'm impressed. And I thought that some of these weren't going to format. I'm like, oh, wow, 1 for 1, 2 for 2. Like that one a lot. 3 for 3, a little extension, 4 for 4. It's like, how many do I go before I actually get the brick wall? Because sometimes, you'll go for a string of a few, and then all of a sudden you hit a string of like 5. They're like, nope. But your boy's going. And another one. Call me DJ Khaled. Another one. I know, me either. I had to put some other words in to. Sometimes different tag words will open up other options, but. Oh man, I'm on a hot streak right now. This is very unusual. Usually the luck runs out usually after like the third or fourth one. But sometimes you can get on a runs. I've done food ones where I've been on fire where I did like 14 or something in a row, but then eventually you'll hit like a wall where the formatting gets a little bit more challenging, but
pressure outside and inside. So huge play now for Tampa Bay.
When we say second generation, as many of you know, Antoine Winfield's dad, a terrific defensive player. Mike McCarthy went up against him. Winfield Sr. was with Minnesota. McCarthy was with Green Bay. And this young man continues to emerge for the Bucs. The 23.
This one says Johnny Townsend flips to Florida. Oh, for sure. And usually I would say the kickers and punters, even though some people would think, oh, they probably get made fun of this or that. I think that they probably get along with more people on the team than people would expect. You know what I mean? Especially if they're an athlete and they're a good dude. It's like, you got to think how hard it would be to be a punter or a kicker and the pressure. You can say, that's not a football player or position. That's not a linebacker. But in reality, some of the pressures that the punters and kickers have are just as big as like a quarterback, sometimes even more. You know what I mean? The pressure to be able to have that good punt or that good kick. And if they miss that kick, you miss one, then you're just like, you suck. Bye. Like you get like all these remarks, it's like, you can't even miss once without people like saying something. It's like, some guys can have a bad football game at quarterback and they're forgiven. But with kickers and punters, once you start doing bad, it's very hard to get out of that hole of like, hey, I'm actually kind of good now. Don't have to like bring up all the bad shit that happens. So. Yeah, I think the kickers should get paid more. I mean, punters should get an increase as well. But if most games are decided by 7 points or less, why can't we pay the best kicker in the league, like a Justin Tucker, like like a top 3 or 4 salary? Like you got linebackers and quarterbacks and running backs, the wide receivers, like the big money. How about pay like a Justin Tucker, something big like 15-20 million a year? That's not worth it for someone that is always helping you win. If they get like normally 5 million a year, give the guy 20 million a year. I don't see what would be wrong with that. You know what I mean? Because especially if that person's helping you every single game and not really getting the love. Now, getting each kicker that type of money isn't realistic. But I think for like the top 3 kickers in the league, if they were able to get 10, 15, 20 mil a year for a few years, reward them. I mean, why not? I mean, they're so undervalued. But we probably will never see that happen. And in the NFL eyes, they probably would be like, well, if they get 500,000, that's good enough. Or if they break 1 million, that's good enough. That's enough for them. So 62,000 per punt. Ooh, man. Yeah, but Tommy is a talented guy. He could probably get into like a podcast or modeling. Like he could probably, get himself linked with other projects after football. Maybe with the golf or other things, with the family or the brothers, or they have like the marina, maybe something to do with like, merchandise, with clothes or something, like I definitely could see him doing something outside of football after he's done punting. Yeah, I appreciate you guys too. Well, I hate to leave, but my brain, I always try to make sure I make time for you guys, and I'm glad that you came in. And I'm glad that I was able to come through, and thank you for your generosity for helping us get to a bigger number than we were at. I'm still in shock that we were at this crazy number that we are and the support that we have, and not to take anything away from Holly or Nate the Grade and obviously Shep, the people that did the big donos. And and it's just, I don't know what to say. My mental health hasn't been very good the last 2 days, but I definitely feel a little bit better, and a little bit of Townsend in my life. Hey, that doesn't hurt anybody, even if it is Johnny instead of Tommy this time around, we can do a little bit of both. Got some good photos. I won't lie. I'm going to keep all those. I'm like, okay. I was like, I didn't know if I was going to be able to find ones that would be up to par, but I was okay. Well, I mean, he's got some epic ones though. I mean, the yoga leg, and, I mean, these ones are killer, but hey, the Johnny ones aren't too bad. They're not too bad. And I always hit you with the best photo of Tommy I think I've ever seen is that one right there. Autograph photo. If you're going to get one photo out of any photo I've ever seen, it's this one. Nice little blue Sharpie or orange. Tommy Townsend. Go Gators. Gator Chomp. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Well, I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. I definitely wish I could go for a little bit longer, but I've, wanted just to make sure I respect everyone that, came in and showed love. Thank you so much for listening and sharing and coming through. And I hope that you have a great rest of your week. I know we're in the middle of the week. I hope things get a little bit better for everyone physically and mentally. And I'm going to try my damnedest to be here tomorrow. I think I'm starting to get onto that mode of like, I'm getting better. Every day is a new day. So I love you guys and I appreciate you guys very, very much. And thank you so much. I mean, I can't believe we hit what 1,527, 1,300 for the single dono. Shout out to Shep. Shout out to everyone that donated in the stream. Reflect, Sarah, Holly, everyone, Jameson. If there's anyone that I missed that donated, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Anyone that donated, anyone that commented, shared, and like I said, I think things will get better. Just a little challenging, and sometimes it's just good to kind of talk things out. So I love you guys and I appreciate you guys. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Gang, love you guys.